You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. This evening, our game of the week stops in Walkertown, where the Wolfpack is ready for a conference clash with the Reidsville Rams. And we welcome you to Walkertown. Chris Edwards, happy to be alongside Mark Covert and delighted to have you with us. Mark, Reidsville has been one of the flagship programs in North Carolina. The Rams have won 3 consecutive state titles, victors of 24 consecutive games. But it's Walkertown tonight at home that feels like they've got the pieces and the game plan in place to make a splash on the 2A scene.
Yeah, and they're confident as all get out coming into this one, Chris. They're going to need to score early and often, get things going early against a dominant team across the other way in Reidsville.
You talk about dominance. Let's look at our impact players tonight. We'll start with Reidsville, and it really begins on the ground with Shaheem Washington, their bell cow.
Yeah, and he's the leading rusher, the leading scorer for this team. He's going to need to be physical, aggressive, and run with power here tonight to come away with the W. And when you look at Walkertown, it's all out Landon Venable, a 6'5" prospect, huge size. He needs to be a game wrecker for this defense tonight.
All right, for more on our contest tonight, let's say hi to the third member of our team. Here's Hannah Brady.
Welcome back for another Friday Night Rivals matchup as the Reidsville Rams take on Walkertown. The Rams had a home conference game on Tuesday, giving them a quick 2-day turnaround coming into tonight's game. They are currently 4-0 after beating North Forsyth, and they are currently undefeated coming into tonight. And meanwhile, the Walkertown Wolfpack has had a really tough season so far, as they have already had 2 game cancellations due to COVID. Excited to see what happens out here on the field tonight. Chris and Mark, back to you.
Hannah thinks the Wolfpack is ready to protect their den, but it's Reidsville who's looking to ram their way to a 25th consecutive win. We'll have kickoff for you next on My 48. Welcome back to Reidsville and Walkertown tonight here from Walkertown. Chris Edwards, Mark Covert, Hannah Brady, the rest of our tremendous team. There's Jimmy Teague, the longtime head coach of the Reidsville Rams, and his club getting ready to surge out onto the field. Mark, we mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's been an interesting week for Reidsville. Hannah talked about it. This is their second game this week. The Rams actually won a conference game earlier this week, beating North Forsyth on Tuesday, back at home 42-14. Curious to see how that impacts things tonight.
Well, you got to think they're at least somewhat warmed up coming into this one at the very least. Maybe some soreness, a little bit of that competitive fatigue taking its toll on this Reidsville Rams roster. But as always, Jimmy Teague's going to have his team ready to play here tonight, and we expect no less.
Now on the flip side for Walkertown, there's Coach Rodney McCoy. He's come over from High Point Andrews. He's in his 16th season overall as the head coach. Mark, third year here at Walkertown, trying to build this program here the right way.
And you can tell he's really excited about what they built here. They've got an opportunity to do something that's never been done here. 3 straight winning seasons and 3 consecutive seasons. You got to feel really good about what this Walkertown team has done, but they've got a pretty daunting challenge in front of them here tonight.
All right, as Walkertown won the toss, they elected to receive the opening kickoff, so we'll get into tonight's starting lineups, and we'll start with this Walkertown offense. You can set your career in motion. Call your local Navy recruiter today. America's Navy forged by the sea. The starting lineup is presented by the U.S. Navy, and it really begins with this ground attack for Walkertown there. You can see the running backs. It's going to be this wing T set for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, Jeremiah McIntyre, you see him right there in the running back, 360 yards, 8 touchdowns to his own name. And he's just one asset within this rushing attack for Walkertown. Anthony Brennan, Mitchell as well. These guys love to keep the ball on the ground and run it.
And now for Reidsville, you look at the defense there for the Rams. It's a really good front four for this Reidsville club.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to look to get some of that pressure. They're going to have to play assignment football here tonight. Really, no hero ball, but stay disciplined in what you're doing. Follow your man on the field and make a play.
Jimmy T talked about the importance of reading their keys against this wing T type offense.
Yeah, and it's going to be really important for them to do that, and that's going to be the major key. When you go against a triple option attack like this, you have to stick to your man at all times. It's going to be a challenge, but if anyone's up to it, Reidsville will be.
All right, Mark, let's take a look at your keys to the game for the contest. We'll start with Reidsville. They need to take advantage of the long ball down the field through the passing game.
Yeah, they need to make this defense for Walkertown hurt. They need to make them pay for when they're playing up against the run, and again, that assignment football, so important. No hero ball tonight. For Walkertown, it's going to be about winning on first down, staying on schedule, making sure you're not putting yourself in bad situations, and then playing turnover-free football, keeping the ball in your hands to control the tempo of the game.
All right, should be a good one tonight. The first time these two clubs have ever met. Walkertown is the 110th different opponent that Reidsville has faced in their history. We'll get things going with an Arnold Jones kickoff, and we are off and running from Walkertown. This is McIntyre on the return for the Wolfpack. McIntyre with a flag down. Still on his feet and is drugged down near the 25-yard line. But I imagine we will see this one come back in the neighborhood of maybe a hold or a block in the back. Mickey Holloman anchors this officiating crew tonight.
Really good hustle to the football that time on the kickoff by this Reidsville kickoff unit as well. Pursuit to the football, getting there and closing any gaps or windows for a long return.
And looks like they picked up the flag. No, they'll mark it off. I never saw a signal, so the officials will mark it back. A long field for Walkertown to work with after this block in the back call. This is a Walkertown club that really has had to replace a vast majority of their program, their players, from the season that ended in the spring. A lot of new faces out there for the Wolfpack tonight as they start in this triple option wing T attack, and they'll do it from under center to start the game. This is Brennan. And he gets out near the 25-yard line, a gain of 7. Aiden Mansfield, the outside linebacker, with his 16th stop of the season.
And again, you'll notice a lot of what Walkertown does, that triple option offense, usually is run from under center, but they do things a little bit differently here in Walkertown, North Carolina. They're going to be doing it from under center, at the base triple option, some of the stuff out of shotgun as well. So some different looks than the traditional spread for a triple option offense.
There's Anthony Brannon, the senior running back, already 3 touchdown runs this year. Jaden Switzer, the quarterback, has passed for 234 yards, and now you see Walkertown maybe spreading it out a little bit. And after the first positive game of the night, we'll have an offside flag against the Reidsville Rams. Penalties for Reidsville have been a bit of an issue at times this year. That's their 41st penalty. They've now been penalized 300 yards in the first 4+ games.
And that can't be something they give away freely here tonight, Chris. They got to make sure they're staying disciplined. It doesn't just stop with assignment football. It's making sure that you are handling your job before and after the snap as well.
So after the 5-yard penalty, it's a first down, a Crescent Ford first down. Ride to the game in style with a new F-150 from Crescent Ford of High Point. Back to the ground. This time it's McIntyre trying to bounce it to the outside, and he'll pick up 4 on first down. And I realize just 2 offensive plays, a small sample size, but right now this Wolfpack offense really staying on schedule.
Well, and that's really what's going to be key for them here tonight, is making sure that they are winning on first down. That means up front, pushing this defensive front of Reidsville back, controlling the line of scrimmage, and allowing your runners room to work with, because this is an electric team. Team speed is exceptional across this Walkertown roster, especially in open space.
Rodney McCoy said, the biggest improvement from his offense so far has been more consistency up front on that offensive line. They're going to need to be really consistent tonight against this powerful front four. Back to the ground. Brandon again, his second carry, totes the mail for 5 yards and another first down.
But you're seeing it there is the way that Walkertown has come out. They're confusing this Reidsville defense. They're having guys come up and try to make the play, but they've got blockers ready to go. Another nice run for Walkertown. Right now, they're moving the ball pretty well, Chris. They are doing exactly what they wanted to do to come out and start this game.
Coach McCoy also told us that, his best defense is a good offense. Sustained drives, Reidsville can't be on the field. Imagine it's going to be a possession game tonight.
Yeah, and Reidsville, when they've got the ball in their hands, they've got to value every single possession. Points are going to be critical.
They'll throw for the first time tonight. A little flare this way. This is Zion Moy who makes the catch and gets up near midfield. It'll be a gain of 9 on first down. A rare pass from the Wolfpack.
And you got to understand, with this offense, it's not going to be a ton of splash plays unless they're long runs. It's going to be just checking it down, dinking and dunking in the passing game, maybe taking an occasional shot down the field, but running the football, it's going to be about getting in between the tackles, 3 yards, 4 yards, and a cloud of dust before they start breaking them longer as the game goes on.
Jaden Switzer, the junior quarterback, again from the shotgun. Rolls the pocket, will throw again, and too long that time for Zakai Mitchell, the sophomore A-back in this wing T offense.
Just really good coverage down the field that time by Reidsville. Nowhere really to go that time, and just had to get it away. Get it out of bounds, live to play another down. Now third down, but only a yard left to go. This is exactly where Walkertown wants to be in this situation.
Are you okay with Walkertown taking a shot there on second down because it's a third and short situation?
Absolutely. 1 yard for a triple option offense is usually nothing. It has to be fantastic penetration by this Reidsville defense to get anything stopped and before it gets any momentum.
Opponents are only converting 27% of third downs against this Reidsville defense. And they're not going to convert here. It's another stop as swarming to the football. Jareel Cobb, the nose guard, the freshman, makes the big stop.
I mean, what a play up front. Again, you talked about the penetration they needed to get. You see it here, just already just right off the snap. White shirts everywhere, gold domes. Running into the backfield to make the play on third and short. And now decision time for this Walkertown offense.
Shaheem Waddlington, the team's leading tackler, was also in there to help make the stop. And now Reidsville has perhaps forced a punt. Arnold Moya Carnello is back to punt.
It's a really good recovery by this Reidsville defense, allowing so many yards in those first few plays and then stiffening up.
Cam Peoples is back to receive the kick. Will not get an opportunity to return here, as it will be blown dead inside the 30-yard line. A 26-yard punt, nothing on the return. And as Reidsville gets ready to come out to begin their offensive drive, we'll take a look at their starting lineup, powered by the U.S. Navy. Transform your life and become a part of something bigger. America's Navy, forged by the sea. Al Lee, you can see the sophomore quarterback there for the Rams. Watch out for Shaheem Waddlington, who just saw in defense. He's going to be a big player in the running game for Reidsville tonight.
Absolutely. Bell cow for this offense, a big-time playmaker. And Al Lee is a good playmaker in his own right. 10 touchdown passes so far to this point in the year.
And motion before the play begins. Looks like a penalty here on the Rams. And it will be a procedure penalty against Reidsville, a team that has won 23 consecutive games. There's their starting lineup. Cam Peoples, the wide receiver, already an offer from Catawba. A lot of young skill position playmakers on this field for both clubs tonight. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for Walkertown's defense as well. And it really begins with that middle linebacker, those outside backers, the big key for the Wolfpack defensively. Start with 5 down linemen. Waddlington gets the first call, and he's met by Cameron Sapp and thrown for almost a loss. Somehow Waddlington keeps the pile moving. They'll still lose a yard. Sapp with his 26th tackle of the season.
See what, they had Waddlington all the way in the backfield. Just couldn't bring him down. The big man, the 6-foot frame, running and keeping his feet going. Still lost significant yards on the play that time, but man, I'll tell you what, just the effort is crazy.
There's the defense for Walkertown. Landon Venable, the junior defensive end, is getting high praise. So is the junior Miles Barlow, the middle linebacker. Passing for the first time tonight, Lee finds Peoples in the seam, and Peoples gets the lost yardage back, plus a few more out to the 34.
Talk about Peoples. He's averaging 18.5 yards a catch coming into this one so far. He's a big play threat down the field, but he likes to work in space. You see it there, just working against that zone coverage. Finding his man is Lee, and Peoples did the rest to get some extra yards.
Gain of 11 brings up third down. Reidsville 33% on third downs this year, 11 out of 33. And they'll gain 5 free yards here as Walkertown into the neutral zone. We mentioned Cam Peoples a moment ago. That was his 21st catch of the season. The offer from Catawba. I'm sure more are going to come from for number 1 there, the senior.
Very twitchy.
Yeah.
You know, in spaces where he really likes to work and where he's really dangerous. See, 5'8" and 170, but when you can make plays like he does in space, again, averaging almost 19 yards a catch, it speaks.
Bubble screen. This way for Flippin. And he's ushered out of bounds across the 40, a pickup of 2. Just the second, or check that, the 10th catch of the year for Quayshawn Flippin, the sophomore.
I'm really impressed, though, by the energy level of this defense for Walkertown right now. They're flowing to the football. Multiple black shirt or red shirts, excuse me, are getting there to make plays, and they're not allowing this Reidsville offense to get anything going really after the catch. It's a good job pursuing to the football. That team, that gang tackling, is really what's going to save them if they're going to come out of here with a W.
Both of these teams have really been impacted by COVID over the last couple of weeks. Play action. This is Waddlington trying to bounce it outside. Flag is down as he gets to midfield. Reidsville's played just 1 game since September the 11th, and that was the game on Tuesday night when they beat North Forsyth at home 42-12. Reidsville will play another game next Tuesday, another 2-game week. Meanwhile, for Walkertown, they've already had a couple of games canceled because of COVID and have had to pick up games the day before they were supposed to play just to fill their schedule.
Yeah, and this is just a landscape of what we see now in not just high school football, but across the country on any level of sports. Just having to adapt week to week, really day to day. You just never know what's going to happen. We've talked to teams in the past already this season that have had 3 different games in the same day schedule. So you just kind of have to adapt and do what you can to make it happen.
The COVID really impacting Rodney McCoy's club. After the holding penalty, another bubble screen for Peoples, who couldn't haul it in.
Kind of let that one go through his hands. I mean, realistically, that's just what happened there. People's so good catching the football, and you just see it here. Maybe just took his eyes off too quickly. Yeah, he turned upfield, and he saw all the room he had to work with. Exactly where he wants to be. Great play call. Got Peoples exactly what he wanted. Just couldn't make the catch and keep it going.
Another third down for Reidsville. They converted their first on this drive thanks to a penalty on Walkertown. But facing a 3rd down and 9 on the opening drive of the game for the Rams. Lee with plenty of time. Home run ball down the field for Miller, incomplete. Julius Miller had a step on his man, but a little bit too much air under that one. And a perturbed Julius Miller streaking down the field.
Oh, he was wide open, too. Honestly, he was wide open down the middle of the field. Just one safety back for the Wolfpack of Walkertown. And he was nowhere near the football that time. Broke on it well, just an overthrow. And that's a huge gain if it's not 6.
So now it's Anthony Franson on to punt for just the 10th time this season. Franson averages about 33 yards per kick. Jeremiah McIntyre is the deep man, one of them, along with Zion Moy for the Wolfpack. Spiraling kick, fair catch called for by McIntyre. It will hit. That ball might have hit a Walkertown player. It's loose at the 20-yard line.
Back.
Yeah, we'll sort this one out. I believe Walkertown falls on it and avoids disaster there. So it'll be the Wolfpack who gets the football when we come back to Walkertown. Off to a nice start here tonight on our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals.
When it comes to the health of your family, no one should settle for anything short of life-changing.
Beautiful night here in Walkertown. Meat of conference play. We're into the back half now of the high school football season. Teams jockeying for position. It's this America out tonight for the Walkertown students. They're fired up for the game this evening, and we are too. Really good start for this Walkertown club, playing the role of underdogs tonight.
Yeah, if you want to get a W here tonight against a team that has the longest winning streak in the state, you got to start fast.
Little speed option here. Speaking of starting fast, it's McIntyre bouncing it outside, picking up 6. And one of the things that Coach McCoy Mark talked to us about this week is how he and his staff, after their game last week, really went back to basics and simplified their playbook. Said, we want to be able to do the things that we do well, do them really efficiently.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you need to do. If you're going to really try to reestablish what you do well, just go back to the drawing board. Get back to the basics of what you do. Your bread and butter, don't overcomplicate it, and allow these kids to just go out here and play football and not think about it as much as they have.
Walkertown operating from the shotgun here on 2nd down and short. Swing pass, McIntyre again. And he is going to lose a couple of yards there, loss of 3. Tried to dance around the defender, but a nice job to come in and make the stop by Jaden McCain.
For all the Golden Domes that were on that side of the field, I really thought McIntyre had a shot to get out of this at first. I mean, you see him cut back, just rolling all around the field, trying to navigate that defense. Not able to get it done. Good pursuit to the football by the Reidsville defense.
You see Shaheem Waddington there, one of the leaders, the middle linebacker of this team. Jaden McCain, who was in on that last stop, just a junior, was a starter as a sophomore. One of the leaders of this Reidsville defense. 3rd down here for Walkertown. Bootleg for Switzer. Throws to the far sideline and incomplete. Was trying to hook up there with Moy. And it'll be a 3 and out for this Walkertown Wolfpack offense. And Mark, that's the last thing the Wolfpack can afford is 3 and outs.
Well, and so close and so deep in their own territory as well. It looked like Moore actually had a good ball thrown to him that time. Just couldn't corral it and bring it in. Maybe just too much going on, working that sideline. Got to concentrate on getting your feet in as well, and couldn't haul that one in. So now Walkertown's going to punt it away, and Reidsville's going to have pretty good field position.
It'll be Montrell McCoy on to punt here, not the starting punter. McCoy gets off a nice kick. Takes a big positive bounce for Walkertown and is down at the 36-yard line. A 38-yard punt, nothing on the return. And now Reidsville back to work offensively. The Rams not only have won 24 straight games, which is the longest active streak in the state. Mark, they've scored at least 3 points, or I guess 2 points in this case, in 338 consecutive games. That's also the longest active in the state. And oh, by the way, they've scored in double figures in 78 straight games. That's also the longest active streak in the state. On the ground here, Waddington straight ahead and picks up 5. Now, by the way, if you're curious, the wins, the 24 consecutive wins for Reidsville, not even close to a school record or a state record. The school record for Reidsville, 55 straight wins from 2007 to 2010. And the state record set by Charlotte Independence, 109 consecutive wins from 2000 to 2007. Boy, Tommy Knott's clubs back in the early part of the decade were phenomenal.
Well, they were crazy.
Lee slides down after a gain of 4, brings up 3rd down and 1. I mean, you're thinking of players like, what, Chris Leak, didn't he come through Charlotte?
Hakeem Nicks.
Hakeem Nicks.
Yep. I mean, there's a slew of college superstars and NFL players on those Charlotte Independence teams as well.
But you want to talk about a flagship program in this state, in 2A and 2AA. It's been Reidsville. More flags there on Walkertown. You cannot give this Reidsville offense free yards. It'll be another Crescent Ford 1st down. Ride to the game in style with a new F-150 from Crescent Ford of High Point. But 22 state championships for Reidsville. They've won 3 straight. They've been in the title game 5 consecutive seasons. It's been the model of consistency for Jimmy Teague in that Ram program.
Deemed the football capital of North Carolina. And when you look at their track record, the history that this Reidsville program has, it's hard to argue with that kind of production.
Waddington sandwiched around a couple of defenders. No gain there. Landon Venable, one of the members of the Wolfpack, in to make the stop. Venable, that defensive end, the best player on the defense, according to Rodney McCoy. college prospects. He's really coachable, one of the hardest workers on the club for the junior.
Tell you what, a 6'5" frame, that's appealing to colleges across America. You talk about a high schooler with a 6'5" playing defensive end, an athlete in space and around the pocket. Gotta love that.
Another bubble screen. This one hauled in by Peoples. Dancing down the field. He's got daylight. And Peoples all the way to the house. Touchdown, Rams. 50 yards and pay dirt for Cam Peoples. His 5th score of the season and a Sunbelt Rentals touchdown. Sunbelt Rentals offering rental locations across the Triad to quickly deliver ready-to-work equipment when and where you need it. Make that 339 straight games with a point for the Rams.
5'8", 170 pounds. And that maybe with the shoulder pads on, but Cam Peoples can fly. When he is in space, he is as lethal as they come. Working off the screen that time, finding his way upfield, making a few moves along the way before finding his way into the end zone.
And now Anthony Franson, the senior, on for the extra point. 17 out of 18 in point afters this year. And nothing wrong with that one as he drives it through. Well, Reidsville on their second offensive drive, wasting no time, extending their state record, 338, now 339 straight games with a point. It's Peoples on the bubble screen. He'll dance down the field. Cam Peoples holding court here early. It's 7-0 Reidsville in Walkertown. Seven 0 Reidsville as the Rams march down the field and punch it in, the game's first score. And that'll be Walkertown getting the football back after this Arnold Jones Services Heating and Air kickoff. We can handle all your heating and air conditioning needs at Arnold Jones Services Heating and Air. This is returnable for McIntyre. And after a modest return, it gets up to the 30-yard line. Only a 7-point deficit now for Walkertown, Mark, but certainly feels like they need to find something to go right offensively and find a way to get some points.
Yeah, because their MO is going to be sustaining drives. It's not going to be these quick one-hitters that Reidsville likes to do as well. They've got the personnel for it. Walkertown is built to sustain drives, to get everything going on multiplayer drives, sometimes hitting those double-digit numbers in plays per drive. So they've got to get something going on this drive to get back in this.
Had a really nice opening drive to start the ball game. They went 3 and out their last time. Misdirection, and not a bad run there, just a yard. A long 1-yard run, though, for number 1, Anthony Brandon.
Just really honing in. This Reidsville defense is now not over-pursuing, not trying to make everyone make the tackle on one guy. Playing that assignment football, allowing your linebacker is responsible for one of the running backs, another linebacker is responsible for the quarterback, and so on and so forth. And you just follow your man. You're playing man defense essentially across the board when you play against a triple option offense, and Reidsville looks like they're starting to settle in.
Second down. And more whistles and flags halt the proceedings. I want to ask you about that, though. Difficult enough to stop this triple option wing T attack as a sideline warning is called on Reidsville. No infraction, just a warning. It's difficult enough to stop it in a full week of game preparation. The Rams had a game on Tuesday, really just had 2 days to prepare. Does that impact this game at all?
Well, it could, and I think it's kind of weird because the way that you prepare for the triple option, again, it's so complex, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that go into it. So much going on that doesn't even impact how the play is going to be run. But the good news is the simplicity of defending it is you're matching up on this guy and you're matching up on this guy. So realistically, it's kind of a double-edged sword as far as preparation is concerned.
McIntyre strung out and thrown for a loss. It's Jarrell Cobb and Devin Sharrock combining on the stop. A loss of 6 and third down coming.
And you could see it there, though. They're pursuing to the football. That was Cobb's guy. You see him shedding off and dragging McIntyre down in the backfield that time. Almost forced a fumble, too. McIntyre a little careless with the football that time. But, again, just finding your guy and making a play, being responsible for him and allowing your other teammates, holding them accountable to what their responsibilities are as well.
How about Jarrell Cobb? That's his 20th tackle of the season. Starting nose guard. He's only a freshman. And I tell you what, the talent pool just gets deeper and deeper every year over in Reidsville. Looking for their 23rd state title in program history. And they've got Walkertown pinned back, 3rd and 14. Switzer steps up and overthrows everybody, looking for Moy again. But it's another 3 and out for this Walkertown offense, something that Coach McCoy talked about that they could not afford in this ball game tonight.
Yeah, just never really go with that football either. I mean, it really just, even if the pass is complete, it's not going to be enough for a first down. So nice job, Switzer, trying to find something, make something happen on 3rd and long, but that's not where this Walkertown offense is built to operate out of.
Montrell McCoy on to punt. Quayshawn Flippin, Cam Peoples are the deep men for the Rams.
I think they're going to try to keep it away from Peoples this time.
Nearly blocked. And a punt off the side of the foot. Could have been partially deflected, but it'll be great field position for Reidsville, who will start from the plus 35 with under 2.5 minutes remaining for the opening stanza. Well, now if you're Walkertown, certainly a lot of time left in this football game, but an offense that is predicated on running the football, have not experienced a ton of success after their first drive. This feels like almost a must-stop drive here, doesn't it?
Well, realistically, yeah, because as soon as this Reidsville offense gets comfortable, it's almost impossible to stop them at that point. So you've got to make sure you lock in on this drive and get them uncomfortable.
Pitch around the edge, Flippin'. And he is wrangled down. Oh, took a hard fall there, a hard tackle. Looked to be pretty clean, though. Nice play in the open field by a couple members of this Wolfpack defense. I believe it was Chris McCorkle, the strong safety, that come up and help make this stop. Also helping there was Ricky Glover, the defensive end.
Talked about the team speed for Walkertown. It's impressive. We want to talk about a lot of the things, of grinding out offense, but their team speed across the board is very nice. You see Glover just making a play in space on a wide receiver on an end around. That says a lot about the kind of athletes they have here at Walkertown.
Loss of 2, 2nd down and 12. Back to the ground. Waddington has not been able to shake free tonight. His longest run of the night takes it down inside the 30, a pickup of 8.
Just love the tough running by Watlington on the inside, in between the tackles, lowering the shoulder, keeping the feet moving, and just continuing to churn out yards on that run and giving his offense a chance now on 3rd down to kind of open the playbook up.
Final 85 seconds of this opening period.
I think maybe goes into Cam Peoples' hands again. He's been as reliable as they've come tonight. Already has the 50-yard touchdown on the screen.
3rd down coming for Reidsville.
Get it in number 1's hands.
Rams 0 for 1 on 3rd down. And now 0 for 2 as Flippin couldn't haul it in. You talk about decision time. You're at the plus 27, 4th and 3. Maybe too long for a field goal.
No man's land, that gray area on the field.
It's a 44 or so yard field goal from here. Reidsville keeping the offense on the field. The Rams, 2 out of 8 on 4th downs this year. It's a 25% clip. And before the play begins, a flag, and it might be a procedure penalty here on Reidsville. And it is. A lot of infractions on the Rams. They're 4th already, and you wonder if that might be a byproduct of their 2nd game in a week.
A little
or
bit
less than a week.
Yeah, the mental fatigue. It's not just physical. People have to understand that. These kids, they're not built. No one is built to play 2 football games in a week, and they're not going to be doing that this week and next week as well.
And it's a product of the COVID that has hit the Rams as well. Now they're going to go for it. 4th down and 8. Back to pass is Lee. Throws this way. Skying up is Flippin to make the catch. And he will achieve a 1st down at the 21-yard line. And Flippin a little slow to get up. It's a pickup of 14 for the sophomore who makes his 10th catch of the year.
Just a nice catch. Good throw. Get it out there. Easy set throw. And Flippin going up to get that football. It's a nice catch coming back, communicating with his quarterback there, and running a nice route, making a nice catch, and may have paid for it.
Zion Moy makes the stop. Reidsville does have to run one more play here for this opening period.
Just the way they're moving the football. A lot of good balance so far for Reidsville.
Back to the ground. This is Waddlington again, who picks up just 2. And that should take us to the end of the opening period. Reidsville does not have to run another play if they do not want to. That was actually Peoples, I beg your pardon, who got the call. Waddlington back in there, the running back now, for the final 10 seconds of the quarter. Lee steps up, home run ball toward the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Julius Miller, and that will take us to the end of the opening stanza. Fast-moving opening quarter tonight in Walkertown as the Reidsville Rams strike on their second offensive drive, and we head to the second period with Reidsville in front by 7. 7-0 Rams. Stay with us. We'll have more of our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law right after this. The COVID. We're back with tonight's Winning Road. Everyone on tonight's Winning Road will receive tickets. Look at that wild atmosphere. They're going to get tickets to the Carolina Classic Fair October 1st through 10th. The Carolina Classic Fair, second to none in 2021. Fair started today. We'll have to go by there on the way home. Maybe come early next week, get a foot-long hot dog at the Carolina Classic Fair. I'm all for it. Reidsville on third down. Lee floats one down the field and incomplete. Had a man open, trying to connect with Miller again, but it'll bring up another third down play for the Rams.
Like the thought. Lee kept his eyes downfield, avoided the pressure, stepped up, took a hit, but kept his eyes downfield and found a receiver and just couldn't hook up with Miller that time. A diving catch, all for naught, slipping right through his hands.
That was third down, so this now a fourth down play for the Rams, and it'll be Anthony Franson on to kick. This will be from about 38 yards away. Franson 0 for 2 in field goals this year. This looks like it's got plenty of leg, and good. Sneaks it in just above the crossbar. Reidsville connects. They've now scored in double figures in 79 straight games. The records keep on ticking for the Rams, who lead by 10.
Good offensive drive that time. Started out with good field position, but still able to put points on the board and put more pressure on this Walkertown offense to produce on the next drive to get back in this one and give themselves a chance here tonight.
You talked about that good idea on the play call. I thought you were talking about good idea going to get a foot-long hot dog at the fair next week.
I never specified what I was talking about.
Both are good plans.
Yes.
Now Walkertown down 10 really becomes all that more important, doesn't it, for Rodney McCoy's team to find pay dirt?
Well, when you're an offense that is built to burn the clock, run the football, really control the tempo of a game, you have to make sure that you are good from the jump, and they were. They were really good on that first drive. They got 2 first downs and then just kind of stalled out. Now it seems that Reidsville's defense has settled in a little bit, really kind of honed in on what Walkertown is doing offensively. So for the Wolfpack, they've got to do something different offensively, show this Reidsville Rams defense something different to look at, and maybe catch them off guard.
Get your air conditioning and heating fall tune-up special from Arnold Jones Services, Heating and Air Conditioning. They sponsor the kickoffs each and every week, and we will see the Rams put it in play again, leading by 10. McIntyre from the 9. 2 flags are down, and this will most likely be coming back. How about this for this Walkertown offense? We talked about the hot start. They accumulated 37 yards of offense on their first drive of the game, Mark, but then just 9 total yards on their next 2 drives.
Again, you just got to get something going. And really, Coach McCoy told us about that this week, too. He wanted to find ways for this offense to sustain drives better. And that was part of that, was getting back to the basics.
Having a teachable moment there with one of his football players, Rodney McCoy. Hired here in 2019. Spent 9 years as the head coach at TW Andrews, where he won a state championship in 2013, beating Rocky Mount in overtime at Keenan Stadium. Really was kind of on the fence if he wanted to go back and become a head coach again, but some divine intervention led him here to Walkertown. He's glad he did. His coaching buddies told him, you can't win games at Walkertown. Well, guess what? They're on the verge of their 3rd consecutive winning season. Starting on the ground here, and nothing doing up front. No gain for this rushing attack. And I thought the most important thing, the most impactful thing that he told us this week was trying to build the program at Walkertown in the right way.
And that's exactly what he's done up until this point as well. You can see the kids buy into what him and his coaching staff are selling, because the triple option offense is not a glorious offense to run. Especially if you're looking to play at the next level, there's only so many teams that really utilize that offense. And he's done a good job here. He really instituted or instilled his players with a mentality that they can win, and that's something Walkertown hasn't seen very often.
On 2nd down, another incomplete pass, trying to target Brannon there. But you talk about that Walkertown has not won a lot. It's a little bit of a misleading statement. They've not won a lot since they became a 2A school. Now, this is a team that has gone 20-24 since moving from 1A to 2A in 2017. But it's a program that when they started, and remember, football was not hatched here until 2013. This is a team that went to the 1AA Western Regional Final, lost to Mitchell in 2015, 27-23. They've had some lean years since, an 0-11 season, a 4-win season. But since Coach McCoy took over, it has been a stark contrast for this Walkertown program.
Well, you talk about a guy who's got a pedigree. Yeah. He's got a state championship to his name when he was at Reynolds. He's got, Andrews, excuse me. He's got what it takes, and he knows how to win in this state. It's just going to take some time, really building and getting these guys from the ground up. And when they're younger, really instituting that mentality of saying, hey, you want to play at Walkertown and you want to play for this football program, you've got to be elite. We've got to be a great program. And Coach McCoy is going to get them there. It's just going to take some time to do that.
Flag on that play. It's a chop block against Walkertown. And right now for the Wolfpack, nothing going right here early in the 2nd quarter.
Just can't back yourself up. You're going to put yourself in positions where you really don't want to be in. You can't afford to be in for an offense like that.
And now they're going to wave off the flag. So it'll be 4th down. And now Walkertown will punt it away again. This will be the 4th punt of the night for the Wolfpack. More good field position here for Reidsville.
He's starting. Cam Peoples is standing inside the 40-yard line right now.
And we got Quayshawn flipping back deep as well, but neither one will get an opportunity here as that ball will be downed near the 45-yard line. So more good field position for Reidsville, trying to build on this 10-point lead.
I'll tell you what, if nothing else, they've gotten some nice rolls on punts. Just give them a few more yards of cushion to work with, but Reidsville's moved the ball pretty well for the most part here in their first few drives, and look to cash in for the second straight possession with points.
If you're Jimmy Teague and you're Reidsville, what's your thought on the way your offense has performed for the first 14 minutes of this game?
Good, not great. I think there's been some missed opportunities. We've seen some drop passes. We've seen some overthrows, just little things here and there. The penalties as well started to mount up.
Flipping on the screen. Sidesteps two defenders. Flipping still on his feet. And he's chaperoned out of bounds that time by Mitchell, the free safety.
Oh my gosh.
What a run.
I mean, snatching ankles at the very beginning of it. You see right here, that's 1, 2, great block out on the edge as well. And then getting upfield, a run that time.
A pickup of 22 and a crescent forward first down. Big hello to the Birchies, who are home in High Point, enjoying the game tonight with a gathering of friends. Appreciate their support of our Friday Night Rivals broadcast. On 1st and 10, back to the ground. This is Miller cutting it upfield. And a positive run for Julius Miller. He'll pick up 9 on first down. It's been that kind of night for Reidsville. Positive yards all the time on first down for the Rams.
Talk about staying on schedule is something that Walkertown wanted to do, and that's exactly what this Reidsville offense has done. They have not put themselves in bad positions and allowed themselves to really work with the entirety of the playbook up to this point.
You see now Reidsville into the Boost Mobile Orange Zone. Boost Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Orange, still not red. 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Waddlington straight ahead, still on his feet, and powers his way inside the 5. Still on the run down to the 1. It's a pickup of 18.
What a runner, flex, young man. Down the field, keeps the feet churning, his lineman pushing him along the way as well, but doesn't stop. See her breaking tackles left and right, getting spun around. I mean, you talk about a power run, an angry run. And just another reason why Watlington is such a spark plug for this offense, a true offensive threat.
Reidsville trying to punch it in. Watlington again. Is in. Touchdown, Reidsville. The 6th of the season for the senior running back. It's another Sunbelt Rentals touchdown. Sunbelt Rentals offering rental locations across the Triad to quickly deliver ready-to-work equipment when and where you need it.
A little more resistance that time, but it didn't matter from 1 yard out. Really, almost 1 foot it kind of felt like. Good luck stopping Watlington from getting any traction there. Got just enough to get into the end zone, and the lead expands for the Rams of Reidsville.
6 carries for 32 yards for Watlington tonight. Already has that rushing touchdown. And now Franson on for the extra point. He's missed just 1 extra point this year. That remains the case as he powers that one home. And it's Reidsville who's up by 17 early in the second stanza. Watlington finishes the drive with his 2-yard run. Reidsville by 3 scores when you return to Walkertown on our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law.
Welcome back to Walkertown as the Reidsville Rams are 17-0. Earlier this spring marked a 22nd state title win for Reidsville, and Reidsville already being known as the football capital of NC. I asked Coach Teague earlier this week what that brings to the culture, and he said, you know, it's just the best place when you coach in a small town and football means a lot. And they actually never talk about the state championship. He says, I just want to teach the game and do the very best we can. Chris?
Hannah, thanks. You're exactly right. Doesn't mention the 22 state titles. loves the community atmosphere. It's a community event in Reidsville, Mark, on Friday nights. Coach Teague said, I wouldn't want to coach anywhere else.
Yeah, but when you don't mention those titles, I think he does a good job of noting that because it adds pressure to your players and your coaching staff. They know what the pedigree at Reidsville is. They don't need to constantly hear it from their head coach, and I think he understands that. And talk about a true winner in his state. Jimmy Teague is one of those guys, a class act as well.
I thought it was funny. He said, we went 9-4 a few years ago, and they wanted to run me out of town.
Yeah.
How many programs would love 9-4 year in and year out? Walkertown would love a 9-4 season this year, but they're going to have to come from behind here to do it as they call a timeout before this drive. So it's the first timeout of the second period called by Walkertown. And they'll want to regroup. Let's dive into Walkertown a little deeper now here, Mark. Had a great start to the game offensively, picked up 35, almost 40 yards of total offense on the ground. You've been stifled since then. How do you get that offense in gear down by 17 points?
Well, I think what we saw early on was a lot of the traditional triple option look. Under center, really, again, smoke and mirrors, a whole lot going on with motions and stuff like that in the backfield. They haven't really done that much in the last few series. It's been very vanilla, a toss sweep here or there, a handoff, just a basic handoff out of the backfield. There hasn't been much of that triple option element to what they've been doing, and Reidsville's just keyed in on that, and they've made plays in the backfield, put Walkertown where they don't want to be. I think if they get back to that base offense that they have, that true triple option where they're operating under center with 3 guys in the backfield, I think that's what makes them dangerous, and that's where they had done their most damage early on in this one.
Stay tuned for the myspot.nc.gov halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, interviews with each school's principal, highlights, and more. That's coming up at halftime of our broadcast tonight. First down, back to the ground. And again, not much running room there at all for this Walkertown club. Just a 2-yard gain for Jeremiah McIntyre. And it's been 1-2 yards a clip for Walkertown. And that's been kind of it over the last couple drives.
And when you're playing it well, that's the other side to this, like Reidsville is right now. There's almost nothing you can do about it. This is an offense that's really predicated on deception, is a really good way to put it. They want to make you confused. They want you to look around and you don't know that they're hitting you for a long run and before it's too late. But Reidsville's done a good job reading the keys, finding their men in the backfield, and sticking to their assignments like they need to.
More of a traditional wing set here for Walkertown. They'll run the sweep. McIntyre again. Another flag is down as a couple of coaches go down on that Walkertown sideline. Everyone appears to be okay. We'll check on the marker. Right now it's a gain of 7 if it stands. And there's a hold on Walkertown.
I was going to say it looked like a pretty good run around the edge that time, but a hold would definitely explain some of that extra running room. It was a good play call. Really got McIntyre out in space.
I don't know, Mark.
I don't know where the hold was there.
I didn't see much of a hold there. I think that's a case of perhaps assuming something's going to occur rather than waiting for something to occur.
I don't know about that one. That was
questionable
at best.
2nd and 15.
And again, this Walkertown offense finds themselves in a very long situation, not something that they are traditionally built for.
Look at Reidsville crowd the box. They faked the pitch. Switzer in a whole heap of trouble and going down again. It's Aiden Mansfield, the sophomore linebacker, with the sack.
I mean, just a great play that time. Stayed home on the backside. You see the fake pitch out. And everyone for Reidsville just stayed home, kept to their men that time. And the play in the backfield, what a job. Just rushing to the football, locating your man and tackling for a huge loss. That's a fantastic play out in space and good recognition that time by Alden Mansfield.
See, only a sophomore. It's his 4th tackle for loss this year, his 1st sack. And it just seems like probably for Walkertown right now, like there's 25 Reidsville defenders out there.
It almost seems like it.
And another flag for delay of game, most likely. And that's 5 more yards. That's the 6th penalty of the night on Walkertown. And we are not even halfway through the second quarter.
I mean, this Reidsville defense has done a tremendous job here tonight. And you're trying to consider the fact that that they're working off of 2 days rest essentially. They played earlier this week on Tuesday. So to come out and still be operating on this sort of level right now is impressive.
But to speak to your point, Walkertown has more penalty yards than total yards in the game right now. 45 penalty yards versus 34 offensive yards. They'll get a few back here on a small run.
But you see a play like that, that is triple option football. It's deception. It's getting a guy coming in motion. McIntyre that time the ball carrier, and they benefited from it. No, they didn't pick up a first down. It was 3rd and forever. They had to basically come from Statesville to pick that up. But realistically, that's the way that they want to get back in this football game. It's going to be on plays like that.
Surprisingly, no penalties on that play. 5th punt of the night coming for Walkertown. One of the better punts of the evening so far for the Wolfpack. Will take a hop and be down at the 38-yard line. Another short field for the Rams to work as they go back to things offensively, leading by 17.
It's 38 yards to go, already up by 17. It's Reidsville offense. I think can smell blood in the water now. They're starting to figure it out here. Now they've put points on the board for 3 consecutive possessions now. And the only one they didn't was that opening drive, Chris. So they've got it figured out. They've got it rolling. And Walkertown, just like on offense, has to figure something out defensively as well.
Peoples in motion. He's got the touchdown catch for Reidsville tonight. And now it's kept by Lee on that RPO. He'll get just 3 yards. 2nd down. Aiden Lee, the sophomore quarterback. Jimmy Teague, the head coach of Reidsville, says, you know what, sometimes he does some sophomore things, but says that he played maybe his best game of the year before the COVID pause against Rockingham County.
I think we've seen a few sophomore quarterbacks so far this year too, Chris, and all the coaches have said the same thing. Sophomores, they're young. They're going to make mistakes, but if the benefits outweigh the negatives, then you really got to know that you're going to ride with those guys. And Ali's just another example of that. A leader on this offense, a productive guy as well. And he's got good stats. I mean, when you look across the board, again, 10 touchdowns coming into this game. Only 2 picks to his right. He's completing almost 60% of his passes. So it's not that he's done a bad job.
Well, with all the playmakers around him, more, I imagine at times, just a game manager.
Yeah. But that's all they need him to be. I think that's the real key there is they don't need him to be, you know, an all-world quarterback.
Well, to your point, he's 5 for 10 tonight for 100 yards and a touchdown pass.
Yep. And if he had taken some air off of one football, he would have had another one.
Play clock dwindling inside of 10. Back to the ground. Watlington again. Inside the 30. It'll bring up 4th down and short. And back to Lee for a second, the quarterback. You're seeing a lot of quick outs, a lot of bubble screens, maybe an extension of the running game for Reidsville to help the sophomore quarterback.
Well, and to bring that defense up as well. Those corners, that defensive backfield, just get them to creep closer and closer to the line of scrimmage, thinking you're going to play bubble screen and run. And that eventually sucks them up long enough that you can start taking some shots over the top as well. And Lee needs to make sure he's hitting on those. You missed on one earlier.
4th down for Reidsville. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down tonight. Watlington trying with a second effort, achieves the 1st down and moves the chains. Another Crescent Ford 1st down. Check out the newest Ford trucks at crescentford.com.
Shaheem Watlington, just a bell cow. I mean, you see it there, the 6-foot frame, 205 pounds, and 1 yard to go, if not less than that. Good luck trying to stop number 5. It's another dynamic that this offense for Reidsville has.
Quick out and complete. Trying to hit Jaden McCain.
Just that RPO action, too. RPO run pass. Have an opportunity to hand the football off to your running back, and if you don't like what you see up front, the quarterback has the option to pull it out and throw it out wide. A new installation, relatively speaking, to football, but one that's become very popular.
It feels like that shows a lot of trust in a sophomore quarterback as well, doesn't it?
Well, and you have to, again, trust his ability to read a defense.
A little bubble screen setup here. Pass hauled in. Running room here for Jareel Cobb. And Cobb dances his way with a late flag in down inside the red zone.
Let's see where this one is, but that was a heck of a catch by Cobb over the middle. Lee just laid it out a little too high. And Cobb in traffic. I mean, right in the middle of the field, as a screenplay is taking place, goes up and gets it, and then picks up so many yards. Excellent job by number 44, excuse me, that time. I'm going to check on the flag.
They'll wave it off.
You see it right here. Lee just a little too hot that time, but Cobb goes up and snares it. Great catch in traffic. And the presence of mind to get upfield. Good job by his big uglies up front as well to get some blocking in front of him, provide him a nice lane to run through as well.
First down, goal to go. Inside the 10-yard line. Cobb again, straight ahead.
Oh,
Took a big hit there near the goal line. It was Zakiah Mitchell, the free safety, laying a huge hit on Cobb and brings up 2nd and goal.
Cobb was kind of left out to dry on that one. Just no man's land right there and takes a shot. But another good hard run, but that time by number 44.
Nothing malicious there. Hit him with the shoulder.
Right.
Just good pop play. Old school football. 2nd down and goal.
We don't get to talk about that a whole lot more now.
And again, this Walkertown defense trying to hold. It's Julius Miller who got the carry, and it'll be now 3rd down and goal from the 1.
Try to catch him by surprise that time, Mitchell. Rather, Miller coming around on the end around that time, just nothing doing. So good job by Walkertown to stiffen up now. 3rd and goal. And a chance to potentially halt this offense from putting 6 and maybe 7 on the board. Got to apply pressure.
Back to the ground, bouncing it outside, finding 6 is Cobb. Touchdown, Rams.
It's another strong run that time. Cobb was the bell cow in this drive, finally giving Watlington some breather. And Cobb comes in, and it's almost like no one left the field. There was no trade-off. They always talk about the next man up mentality. You saw it there from 5 to 44, and it's still 6.
Another Sunbelt Rentals touchdown for Reidsville. Sunbelt Rentals offering rental locations across the Triad to quickly deliver ready-to-work equipment when and where you need it. And now the extra point for Anthony Franson, who's been perfect tonight. Bit of a high snap, but that does not alter the kick. And Reidsville with a 24-point first half takes the lead here. On the ground, it's the Rams who bulldoze their way down the field. Cobb finds Paydirt, and the Rams up 24 when you come back. Stay tuned for the myspot.nc.gov halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, interviews with each school's principal, highlights from this game across the country, and more. That's coming up in about 3 minutes of game action here from Walkertown High School, where the Wolfpack is looking to give this crowd something to cheer about. Returnable here on the kickoff for Moy. Well, this is McIntyre, beg your pardon. McIntyre shimmies free. McIntyre out near midfield. McIntyre still on his feet. And he'll make a house call for the Wolfpack. 95 yards and an explosive play for Walkertown.
The leading rusher for this Wolfpack team makes a play on special teams. Fielding that kickoff over the shoulder, a difficult catch as it is, and then wiggling his way free into daylight. Great job by his kickoff return unit as well, getting down the field, not giving up on the play, and providing blocks down the field to spring him for a touchdown.
Jeremiah McIntyre with a huge spark And now look at the trick play. They'll go for 2 and will convert. Rodney McCoy and his club pulls out all the trickeration on the swinging gate. And it's Chris McCorkle who gets in for the 2-point try.
Don't see it every day. But my God, they have nothing to lose. First here, McIntyre, the kickoff return. You see right there, just wiggling free. So dangerous in space is number 2 in red. You saw the blocks down the field, making it happen, setting them up as well. And just an excellent play by McIntyre. Then the trick play, the swinging gate. Like you said, partner, just all the trickeration you can imagine. And they have nothing else to lose at this point. You're down 24-0. What else do you have to lose? You see it there, just a rush up the middle. Catching that special teams unit, that field goal block team off guard. And just like that, 16-point game.
Jeremiah McIntyre, the junior, finds his way, broke a couple of tackles you saw there.
Regardless of what has happened up to this point, this is a team that is dangerous in space. Got a lot of guys who have a lot of wiggle and can really work once they get behind some blocks.
But now the only downside as we prepare for another Arnold Jones Services kickoff, the defense coming back out onto the field for Walkertown, and they spent a lot of time on the field in the first half.
Got to be tired at some point, but at least now they have something to back up and go against right now. They've got something to play for. A little bit of momentum, just a little bit, has now gone back over to their sideline from that Reidsville side. See if they can harness some of that.
Feels like a 3 and out here would be a huge shot in the arm for Walkertown. That one is a live ball. Peoples scoops it up. And can Peoples provide a spark? Already has 1 touchdown tonight. And not a bad return, all things considered. 21 yards out to the 25-yard line.
Really looked like it was going to be a lot more when he started getting that football down the field. We've already seen people score from 50 yards out on a screen. And just some more electricity on that one, but not a lot doing. Still got to the 25.
Who do you look for here on this drive for Reidsville?
Number 5 has been the bell cow, but to be honest with you, Peoples just took that kickoff. We haven't seen much of him since he scored that touchdown. Once you get it back in number 1's hands, allow him to work.
Instead, it's Watlington. Picks a hole. And picks up 5, maybe 6. It's been that way for Reidsville all night long. It's not been flashy. It's just been power football for the Rams.
Very methodical approach to this game so far, but grinding it out. And again, they're getting 5 and 6 right now. What's it going to be if they continue to go with this plan and it works? Once we get to the 3rd, 4th quarter, when they're going to start popping off averages of first down.
First time we've seen this bunch formation for Reidsville tonight, and some contract through the neutral zone. Kevin Frazier, the defensive tackle, appeared to be the culpable party there. But you mentioned Reidsville trying to pick up more yards, Mark, as the game goes along. Jimmy Teague said he could see Tuesday night in that game against North Forsyth, his team was breathing a little heavier in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Don't have a lot of conditioning. Could that play a factor later in the game?
It very well could. If you're concerned about them playing 1 game within a week, imagine them trying to play 2 within, what, 4 days?
Yeah, after not playing since September the 11th.
Right.
Passing here is Lee. Now pressured from behind and sacked. It's Landon Venable, the defensive end, with his team best 9th sack of the year.
All 6'5" of them just working on that edge that time. You see him just getting inside of his tackle and bringing down Lee for a sack. Great move to the inside, creating penetration. He had to be a game wrecker tonight for this Walkertown defense. He had to be a game wrecker up front, make plays, and right there, the first splash play for Landon Venable.
That's the 6th tackle for loss for this Walkertown defense tonight. Now Reidsville backed up behind the chains, and they'll be backed up a little bit more.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see the potential for this Reidsville team. You can see it, because obviously they've scored. They put up 24 points here in the first half, and they haven't executed their fullest, but it's going to be things like that, those penalties, those careless mistakes, the mental mistakes that are going to be holding them back as this season goes on. And like you said earlier in the game, Chris, we're already in the back half of the season.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of time left to correct mistakes like that.
Walkertown a little confused offensively. Back to Watlington. And he is upended at the 25-yard line. It's a gain of just 2 that time, and will hurt the yards per carry average that when this drive began was about 3.7 yards per carry for Reidsville tonight.
And really, Walkertown's defense has done a pretty good job tonight. It's just been the ineffectiveness of the offense to move the football down the field, and they've just lost the field possession battle.
And Walkertown going to call timeout. Let a lot of time dwindle off of that clock. Now under half a minute to go for the first half. Walkertown with a stop here, Mark, you feel like could get the ball back in decent field position. But the question is, do they have enough firepower offensively to punch one in with presumably no timeouts and maybe 15 seconds?
Yeah, and that's going to be the big question. They're going to have to run something. Maybe that's where a trick play comes into play. They got to pull something out to move that ball down the field if they want to put some points on the board before the end of the first half. It's going to have to maybe come on some trickeration. Already saw it once. It wouldn't surprise me. Saw it once with the swinging gate already after the touchdown for Walkertown. So we know that they are available. They are open to it.
But it will be Reidsville who gets the ball to start the second half.
Now, with that all being said, it is a 3rd and 21.
Correct.
So they do have a long way to go, but Reidsville is fully capable of picking up 21 yards.
You almost maybe think about a long pass play here. It would almost act like a punt.
Take a shot.
Would stop the clock, though. 3rd down for the Rams. Walkertown trying to seize a little bit more of that momentum that they just got back on that kickoff return. Lee is flushed, and Lee is taken down again. No gain, and Walkertown immediately calls timeout after Landon Venable makes another tackle.
On this drive, he's woken up a little bit. Top prospect on this defense, the top playmaker for this defense. See right here, nowhere to go. Lee had nowhere to go with that one, just runs right into Venable. So a gimme sack that time, but another play where this front 4, this front 7 for Walkertown has been around the football tonight.
Reidsville now 0 for 5 on 3rd downs. Very uncharacteristic for the Rams. And now let's sort of dive into the strategy of this, Mark. 20 seconds left in the half. No timeouts for Walkertown. We talked about maybe the lack of explosiveness from an offensive standpoint. Do you almost feel like you have to create something on this kickoff return, whether it's a block kick or a decent return?
I mean, realistically, yeah. There's got to be something that's going to get you positive momentum. Now, that's where it gets a little tough. However, as we've already seen, number 2 in red, that being McIntyre, has already made something happen. He's back deep to return this kick, so.
He's the only one back deep. Looks like Walkertown's going to bring a rush. Kicks away. And that will be a tremendous kick from Anthony Franson as it's down at the 35-yard line. It is a 38-yard kick, nothing on the return. And you wonder if this might just send Walkertown knee down into the locker room.
I would think that they're just going to, say, be content with going into the half down 16, but I think that's just kind of going to be the approach. Get out of this half. Go back into the locker room, regroup. You find yourself down 16. It looked like it was going to go really, really far away and get away from this Walkertown team early on, but able to rally, get some points on the board.
Have seen some of that momentum certainly at the end of the half, and now with 10 seconds remaining, they will run a play. McIntyre trying to shimmy free and gets out across the 40-yard line. He'll pick up 6. And that will take us to the intermission. A little jawing here after the play. But I don't think there were any flags. Just boys will be boys.
I think Moy was trying to draw a flag that time, a little physical nature.
But that will take us to the end of the half, and we'll wait for Hannah to get in position to grab Coach Teague after the Rams and Wolfpack begin to retire toward their locker rooms. A very interesting first half that, as most football games do, Mark, have some peaks and valleys for both teams. But I think it'll be a lot of halftime discussion and adjustments made from both of these staffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Reidsville looked like it was going to start running away with this thing, but Walkertown able to withstand the storm that Reidsville was putting on the first half, put some points of their own on the board as well, and get them back into within position of
making this thing a football game.
Coach Teague walking over to get into position with Hannah. We'll go down to her in just a moment as we prepare to begin the myspot.nc.gov halftime report. A lot to get to this evening, but first it begins with Hannah, who is down on the field. She's standing by with the Hall of Fame, or soon to be Hall of Fame head coach of the Rams, Jimmy Teague. Hannah?
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with head coach Jimmy Teague. Coach, you had a couple penalties in the first half. What are you hoping to change about that coming back in the second?
Yeah, we got to play a full 2 more quarters. You know, we kind of let down there right at the end of the half and gave a long touchdown on the kickoff. We got to take care of all areas of football.
I gotcha. And so you did a really good job of moving the ball up the field so far. You hoping to continue that coming back out? What are your plans for that?
Yeah, obviously we try to get the ball in our playmakers' hands and let them make plays. And, you know, that's what they've done in the first half. We got to continue to do that as well.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more after the break.
Throughout the 2021 Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals season, Biscuitville will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Biscuitville Scholar athletes are Walkertown High School's Kaylee Holmes. Walkertown High School's Kaylee Holmes plays softball and is the captain of the varsity volleyball team, where she was named All-Conference her sophomore and junior year. Kaylee is a Crosby Scholar on the Spanish Honor Society and is the school's senior class president. And from Reidsville High School, Anthony Franson. Reidsville High School's Anthony Franson is the Rams football place kicker and punter. Anthony is also the goalkeeper for the soccer team and a member of the swim team. He manages to be very active in athletics and maintains a weighted GPA of 4.857. Kaylee, Anthony, and other nominated students are competing for a $5,000 Biscuitville Ultimate Student Athlete Scholarship to be awarded at the end of the season. Since 1966, Biscuitville has been serving up authentic Southern food made fresh from locally sourced ingredients. Stop by a Biscuitville near you for the flavor of local.
myspot.nc.gov halftime report. I'm now joined with Reidsville High School Principal Erica Blackwell. Principal Blackwell, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So what makes Reidsville High School unique?
Well, Reidsville High School is unique because of the investment that our community and our families put into our school. And that's not just the support. As you see, we travel with a pretty big crowd, but also financial support with many of our programs. So our community really invests in us, and we hope to invest back into our community.
That's awesome. And so what are some of the programs that your school has to really, diversify the culture that you have there?
Okay, well, we have a great athletic program, but in addition to that, we are a certified IB World School. We also have a Design and Arts Academy. We have a great relationship with the community college, so our students are able to take college courses, get certifications in industries such as machining and welding and many other opportunities. So it's many opportunities for all students in all walks of life. And we're training every day the brightest minds for life after high school.
That's awesome. And I know this is your third state championship as a new principal here. Are you hoping for a fourth?
We're hoping for a fourth. We're hoping for a fourth. We are the football capital of North Carolina, and we want to keep that going. But I'll tell you, if we don't close that deal, if we fall short of that trophy, I couldn't be more proud of these young men on the field as well as off the field. They do a great job in and out of the classroom.
Well, we certainly appreciate you here
Thank
and
you.
appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll be right back with more after this next break.
Okay.
Welcome back to the myspot.nc.gov halftime report. I'm now joined with Walkertown's principal, Misty Walker. Principal Walker, thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate it. So what makes, Walkertown High School different from all the other schools in this area?
Walkertown High School is a true community school. Most of our students have actually started at Walkertown Elementary, which is on the back side of our campus. And so when we say that we are a community school, the majority of our students have literally attended all of the schools right here in this exact area.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the programs that you have at your school that really embody and diversify the culture that you have?
We have a variety of career and technical education offerings. We actually have a firefighter academy here, which is really unique to our school system, such that if you're really interested in public service and you come in and you want to be a firefighter, you can actually take all of the coursework with the exception of one course to be fully certified before you graduate from high school. In addition to that, we also offer a strong AP program and other course offerings such as nursing fundamentals. So there's literally courses, something of interest for all of our students here to help prepare them for life beyond high school.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. We certainly appreciate it and appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Earlier this week, or before the game, I had a chance to talk talk to one of our sponsors of the game from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, and here's what they had to say. Welcome back. I am now joined with Senior Program Manager Correll McRae. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what your role is and who you are.
All right, so yes, my name is Correll McRae, as you said, and one of the things that I do with DHHS is I'm one of the senior program managers, and every day I interface with some of our vendors that are helping us stand in the gap for COVID. And so we have about 8 vendors, state vendors, and so one of my role is to make sure that everything is running smoothly on the ground, and as well as one of my other role is as the HMP team lead on the COVID response task force, is I also interface with the work streams to make sure that we keep an equity lens on all the work that we're doing, and making sure that we're getting in deep into the communities and those hard to reach areas, and making sure we're working together to get everyone vaccinated.
That's amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about what the stats are for COVID in our area?
Oh yeah, so in our area, the good thing is that we got about 70 people of the population vaccinated, so shout out to the Forsyth County Health Department, really rocking it out. As well as, so the other thing that we're looking at is the high positivity rate. It's 9.8%, and so we really want that to come down. And so that's one of the things that we're out here on the ground doing, is why I'm out here with you tonight, to make sure that we're actually educating the folks, and we're really putting all our hands on deck, and really just trying to get everyone vaccinated.
And with that in mind, where can people go to get vaccinated if they would like to?
Absolutely. So one of the places that you can go on tomorrow, well, actually tonight, you know, there's the classic fair that's going on.
Yes.
There's Dr. Sadler's office, who's a dentist here locally in Winston-Salem. He has an event going on tomorrow.
Wow.
So you can pop up there and get information, talk to some of the clinicians out there if you have any questions. And then also there's a local church that's having some events tomorrow. You can check out some of these events at the Forsyth County Health Department's Facebook page, and call them up, and they'll tell you where to go and how to get there.
That's awesome. And so you're vaccinated. Would you like to share why you chose to do so?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the main reasons why I did choose to get vaccinated is because of my grandmother.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do every month is I make sure we spend some time together. And so she actually called me and asked me, did I get my vaccine? So that was a flip side of the script, making sure, you know, still doing the things that she does, has always done. So that was my inspiration to get vaccinated, to make sure we protect the Queen Bee.
Well, thank you so much for all your information and for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. You do.
We'll be right back with more after the break. Welcome back to the myspot.nc.gov halftime report. I am now joined with Tanner McCaskill of the U.S. Navy. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
It's good to be here.
So, I know you're here for recruitment. What are some of the things that you look for in recruits?
Well, we've got many different programs. Specifically, when we get out in the community like this, we're looking for those with big brains that can qualify for our nuclear engineering program, as well as the fitness beasts that can do what it takes to make one of our special warfare programs like SEAL, SWIC, explosive ordnance disposal, and air rescue swimmer.
Awesome. And so what are the incentives, you know, when people sign up?
Besides the fact that you're getting a great job that can translate to a career, or something that'll give you a skill set that you can take with you in the outside world, some of our programs offer bonuses. It really just depends upon when you decide to make that jump.
And how do people find out more information if they want to get more involved?
There's so much out there, and it's hard to just get a general idea for one specific person. So the best way would be to come talk to us. You can find us at Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem. Otherwise, there's information online, but really just find a recruiter, because we don't know what to present to any given person unless we actually sit down and find out what your goals are and show you how the Navy can bring you to what you're going after.
Absolutely.
Or follow me on Instagram or Snapchat at FC1 McCaskill.
Awesome. All right, we certainly appreciate all you do and for being here tonight to support Friday Night Rivals.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Chris, back to you.
Well, Hannah, I'm going to be sure to follow him on Instagram as soon as we get done tonight. Let's take a look at some of our great highlights from across the country. Now, each week we're going to be showcasing our Friday Night Rivals and Thursday Night Lights highlights from across the country. Here are some great highlights from last week's action.
Burnett rolling, looking, now getting a reverse field. He's got some blockers that way. He directs traffic, sidesteps one defender, and scores.
He has a man down the sideline. There's two men over there defending, but what a throw, what a catch. Touchdown, Barron.
You could see a fake. They're going to kick. It was blocked. Grabbed. Returned. It's Carlson who had the interception earlier. He's looking for a convoy. What a vertical.
Mark McGonigal with a couple of jump cuts. And now a spin, stays on his feet. Run of the year for the touchdown.
Reverse. Going the other way is Ethan Reed, and he's dropped.
Going to keep it and try to throw it long, looking for a receiver, and does. Touchdown.
25 to go here, second quarter. Harbaugh going to keep it himself, spins his way across the 5-yard line. Great second effort and in for the touchdown. What a tough run, the spinning senior Cam Harbaugh.
Big play coming up here, and that one is picked.
Is that DeAndres McLeod?
It is. The big man.
He's got some blocks. Run, baby.
He's got a couple blocks. He's trying to go. He's going to go. He's rumbling down the 15
rumbling,
to 10.
Stumbling, fumbling. Let's go.
Let's go down to the field now. Hannah Brady standing by with head coach Rodney McCoy of Walkertown.
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with Coach McCoy. Coach, you know, you had some trouble getting a couple points on the board, right? What was your message to your team in the locker room coming back out to keep them motivated?
One, we got to fight back. We started off pretty decent in the first half, and then we lost field position. And at this point in time, we just got to fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to ask, Coach, you took a hit in the second quarter. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, man. I was trying my best to get out of the way, but I got pinned, and I kind of took a lick there, so.
All righty. Well, I'm glad you're all right, and I appreciate all you do. Good luck in the second half, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Oh, okay.
That was, yes. Will you send a text about dinner tonight? Reidsville a 24-8 lead as we start the third quarter. Chris Edwards, Mark Covert, Hannah Brady, the rest of our great team. It'll be Reidsville getting the football back as we get off and running in the third quarter from Walkertown. Short kickoff, returnable from the 24. On this Arnold Jones kickoff, it's Blair, and he gets out across the 40-yard line. A return of 18 yards.
Just kind of going for the short kickoff that time to open the half, not get it in the hands of some dangerous return men and Miller and Peoples.
So now we'll see this Reidsville, Mark, offense on the field to start the third quarter. How imperative is it for Reidsville to try to establish some momentum?
Very imperative. I mean, it is super important for them to get something going, especially running the football. We talk about how great of a runner Watlington is, and he just hasn't had much room to work with there. Gets a nice gain on first down, so maybe that's the start of what they've been looking for this entire game.
Pick up a 5 for number 5 to start the third period.
They just haven't had much running room, and you can credit a lot of that to what Walkertown did in the first half, just converging on the football, whoever it was, whether it was Watlington or his backfield mate, Jarrell Cobb.
Each had a touchdown run in the opening half of play.
But just not much room to work with.
Play action. Swing pass for Peoples, who had a touchdown catch in the opening half. He sidesteps 2 defenders and dives ahead for another first down. It's another Crescent Ford first down. Test drive a new EcoSport at Crescent Ford and High Point. It's got the things you need to do the things you've always wanted.
I'll tell you what, right now it looks like they're going up tempo, though, trying to get this Walkertown defense out in the field and see if they get them tired here early on in the second half. They were on the field a lot in the first half. We're going to see how their endurance is coming out of the gates.
A lot of players for this Wolfpack club playing on both sides of the football as well. First down and 10 in plus territory for the Rams. Misdirection. Lee will keep it. Designed rollout. And short hops his intended target, looking for Peoples again.
Maybe just kind of overthought that one the way he was approaching that throw, because he had Peoples open. I mean, Cam Peoples was by himself in that backfield. Maybe just the way he was running, going across his body that time with the throw rolling out to his left, being right-handed. So who knows? But either way, short hop's an opportunity to get that ball down the field and pick up a fresh set of downs.
Certainly feels for Walkertown, too, like they could snatch a little bit more of that momentum back early in the third quarter. Walkertown seemed to be teetering with some of the momentum at the end of the first half.
They were, and it was because of this defense, the way that they were playing, the energy that they were playing with. They were able to get that momentum back in their favor.
Another quick out and another drop pass. This time, Aiden Mansfield was open in the flat, couldn't haul it in. And Mark, it's not been terrible throws from Lee. It's been a lot of drops for these wide receivers.
It has, and it's just along with some of the penalties that they had in the first half. Now you see the other part of those mental mistakes, the drops out wide. Give yourself an opportunity to make a play. You got to get your hands on the football, make sure you catch it, secure it, and then you can start to work in the open field.
Reidsville was 0 of 5 on third down in the opening half. The only first down conversion they had was because of a penalty in that opening half of play. Back to pass, Lee. Going to shoot a home run ball down the field, and it's caught, and a touchdown for the Rams. Quayshawn Flippin with his 5th touchdown catch of the season. And a dime tossed in by Al Lee.
Oh, that was a chef's kiss. I mean, just right out the gate, a beautiful pass. Down the field, dropped it right in the breadbasket. That was an easy 6 that time. Streaking down the field for Flippin. He's made a couple nice catches in this game, and now he's got a touchdown to his credit as well.
And now on for the extra point will be Anthony Franson. Was perfect in extra points in that opening half. And another one is driven through. A great start to the third quarter for Reidsville. That chef's kiss. That touchdown pass, you know what it is? That's Amore.
Just a beautiful throw over the top. Great coverage, too. You can't even doubt the coverage on that one. Just a perfect pass by Al Lee. I mean, look at that right there.
Right in the breadbasket.
Flippin, put his arms out in the belt. The ball fell right into them. You got to love that. It doesn't get much easier. You know, as a receiver, you ran your route. You gave your quarterback a chance and just took full advantage, despite great coverage on the back end by Walkertown.
And you saw it there, a Sunbelt Rentals touchdown. Sunbelt Rentals offering rental locations across the Triad to quickly deliver ready-to-work equipment when and where you need it. Talk about snatching that momentum back. Reidsville continues to add on to this lead here early in the third quarter.
Yeah, just got to love the way. If you're going to come out of the half in attack mode, and make something happen. That is the way to do it.
Now ready for this Arnold Jones Services Heating and Air kickoff as we continue with our third period of play. Avoid costly breakdowns with energy-saving agreements from Arnold Jones Services Heating and Air. Anthony Franson's had a good night tonight. Been perfect on extra points. He's also our Scholar Athlete of the Week presented by Biscuitville. And the first miscue for the quarterback tonight as that kickoff for the kicker tonight as that one goes out of bounds, and it'll be another penalty on this Reidsville club.
Really, I think he was just trying to get something going like Reidsville, or rather Walkertown did on the last kickoff. Little short pooch punt. Don't get it back into the hands of number 2. That'd be Jeremiah McIntyre.
Yeah, 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown from McIntyre in the first half. The only points for this Walkertown offense.
Actually, really savvy play by that return team for Walkertown to not touch that football, let it roll out of bounds, get better field position.
There is McIntyre. This time it's Brannon on the sweep. And Brannon picks up 2 yards.
Touched on at the end of the first half what this Walkertown offense needed to do to get back in this one, how they can find success that they found fairly early on in this one, and it was getting back to what they did traditionally with the triple option. Instead of going out of the shotgun formation and just going with base runs that are very predictable. Get something going here. Get some deception, some smoke and mirrors back so you're confusing this Reidsville defense.
From the shotgun, Switzer. Quick hitter and incomplete, looking for Zion Moy. Just have not been able to make that connection between Switzer and Moy tonight.
And he's had him open quite a few times. Moy has been there, and it's been kind of on the two of them. Some inaccurate passes by Switzer, and Moy's had a few drops as well, so it doesn't really help his case in that regard.
5 incompletions tonight for Switzer. 5 of his 8 passes have been incomplete.
And that's where it's really going to hurt them, because where they're going to be in a game now that is more predicated to hurrying up and getting back down the field, they've got to make some of those passes pay against this defense for Reidsville.
Walkertown didn't convert a third down in the first half, and Mitchell trying to do what he can to pick up this first down, but he's in no man's land and thrown for no gain, maybe a loss of a yard. It'll be a 3-and-out to start the third quarter for Walkertown.
Really sniffed out well that time by Reidsville, just running to the football, sniffing out the swing pass that time, and good pursuit. You see all the white jerseys around them that time. And really nowhere to go with the football was Mitchell.
6th punt of the evening coming for this Walkertown club. They average about 24 yards a kick. It'll be McCoy, the punter. Line drive kick. And Reidsville will have good field position again as that one down near the 35-yard line. It's a 26-yard kick. There is no return, and it's Reidsville football on the other side of this timeout. A 31-8 lead for the Rams on the road early in the third quarter on the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. Reidsville with the lead early in the third quarter. Chris Edwards, Mark Covert, Hannah Brady, the rest of our great team with you. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. And Mark, certainly feels like this is the swing possession of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah. If Reidsville's able to go down the field, add more points to the board here, effectively, this might be, for all intents and purposes, over. You never know what's going to happen, but Walkertown's just not predicated offensively on getting back into games quickly.
Reidsville, a nice scoring drive to open up this third quarter. Now Lee wants to run, lowers his head, and picks up about 5. Good second effort there from the sophomore quarterback.
I really love Lee's played a pretty good game here tonight. For a sophomore, a young guy, you expect to have some mistakes. We really haven't seen that many tonight. And like you said in the first half, Chris, all he needs to do is be a game manager. With all the pieces that are around him offensively, he just needs to make sure that he's managing the game well and getting the football into his playmakers' hands. He's done a good job of that here tonight. And when his number has been called on its own, he's done a good job of also getting yards where he has been able to.
Back to the ground again. Watlington fights ahead. Another crescent forward first down. A pickup of 7. You talk about, Mark, being able to be so efficient in the run game and in the pass game tonight. A lot of time for Al Lee back there. And it's because of the offensive line. And that's one of the things Jimmy Teague talked to us about this week. You know, the offensive line for Reidsville was a big question mark coming into this season. And because of COVID, they've had to add some depth there. They feel like they're 7, 8, 9 deep across that offensive line.
I mean, that's impressive. Just to think that you have that many bodies to throw on that offensive front and have the confidence that they can go in there and play as well, that's big time.
Lee sacked in the backfield, of course, as we talk about the offensive line. Lee takes a sack, more of a coverage sack there. Venable in for another tackle for loss. But just to finish the point, Reidsville only had 1 returning starter on that offensive line. Again, now 7 to 8 deep, but this time it's the defensive front making the play for Walkertown.
Well, I think you actually hit the nail on the head that time. That was a coverage sack. Just Lee had nowhere to go. Great job on the back end of that play by this secondary of Walkertown to lock down on the receivers for Reidsville. No passing lanes available for Lee, and he had to eat that one.
Now 2nd down and 17. Walkertown having a tough time getting lined up defensively here. Just 1 single high safety for the Wolfpack. Bubble screen for Flippin. That's incomplete. Nearly a backwards pass, but it'll be 3rd down.
Just another one of those instances on these screenplays that Reidsville's loved tonight. I mean, they've run a ton of them, but the receivers just getting their eyes upfield a little bit too soon, losing concentration on the football and can't bring it in. So many drops for these receivers tonight. You got to think about how many yards they've left out on the field in this one.
Imagine there might be some pass-catching drills in practice next week. Although tough for Reidsville, as you mentioned earlier, the game on Tuesday.
Right.
Tough to really dissect a whole lot from this game.
The jugs machine might still be a little busier than normal.
3rd down for the Rams. Just 1 3rd down conversion for Reidsville tonight. They're 1 out of 6 to throw here. Now Lee wants to run. Cuts it upfield. And is sandwiched from behind. Oh, a big hit. What a nice play through the middle that time by Kevin Frazier, the sophomore defensive tackle.
Really good pursuit that time. Lee, good decision to pull the ball down, but nowhere to go. Walkertown comes up and makes a play on Lee, closing in on that one. You see just keeping his eyes downfield, looking for anything. He just has to get what he can before he gets sandwiched in between 2 of many Wolfpack.
Antoine Mitchell there to help with the sack as well, or the stop. And now Reidsville having to punt as we near the midway point of the 3rd period.
A good possession by Walkertown that time. Defensively stood up, got a sack on that 1st down, and really set this Reidsville offense behind the chains from there.
Clocking out the ally of the Wolfpack. Another short kick. And a touchback. Oh, nice effort there by Reidsville to try to save it there at the 1 yard line, but it will indeed be a touchback. Hustling down the field that time was Devin Sharrock. Mark, as we look at the replay, nearly got down there.
He just pins the ball on the ground right before it goes in the end zone. Again, good effort, good hustle. You love to see that out of your special teams. Trying to pin this Walkertown offense deep in their own territory at the 1, but they'll just have to settle for starting at the 20 now.
1st and 10 from the Wolfpack 20-yard line.
Again, if there is a time, now almost feels like the real last possession that Walkertown's going to have an opportunity to get back in this game, because they work on grinding it out. They work on running the clock. They work on being methodical. It's not a one-and-done offense that scores quickly.
Play action and incomplete. Again, looking for Anthony Brandon out of the backfield.
Quarterback pass number 1 falls incomplete.
6 consecutive incomplete passes now for this Walkertown offense.
Really a dangerous pass that time. Didn't have anywhere else to go, and where the ball ended up behind Brennan may have been the safest spot for it, because if he had put that anywhere else on the numbers or in front of him, That ball very well could have been picked off, and who knows what happens after that.
Mark, coming up in the fourth quarter, we'll highlight tonight's Roan Law play of the game. Roan Law, the Triad's injury attorneys. A lot to pick from so far tonight, and a lot of football right in front of us, too. And the ball on the ground, gobbled up by Walkertown to avoid the game's first miscue. But now it's third down and behind the chains for an offense that cannot continue to get off schedule.
Just falling behind those chains. One of the keys was winning on first down. And Walkertown, for the most part tonight, has not been able to do that. They found themselves looking into the teeth of this Reidsville defense, and pressure has been coming early and often since those first couple of drives where Walkertown found some success. Reidsville's been pinning their ears back, getting into the backfield, and Walkertown's had no answer for it.
Just one single high safety here for Reidsville. A home run ball looking for Mitchell, incomplete. A lot of deep shots taken by Walkertown tonight. They've been unable to connect on any of them. And another 3 and out for the Wolfpack. And just not a lot going offensively right now for this Walkertown club.
Well, and realistically, even though they've been pinning their ears back, this Reidsville defense, their secondary's been playing really well too. Just blanketing these receivers and not allowing them to get any separation in the defensive backfield. So good job by that secondary. It really allows this front seven for Reidsville to pin their ears back and get that pressure.
McCoy on the kick. And that will be downed at the 43-yard line. A little bit of a tiger stinger on that 34-yard punt. I'll take one of those stingers tomorrow afternoon on the golf course, as long as it finds the fairway.
I'd like to know, because this is our fifth game now, I want to know how many times we've brought up your golfing game.
Well, I can tell you that my golfing game is much better here than it really is. I would not win the player of the game. But speaking of the player of the game, coming up in the fourth quarter, you can stay tuned to find out who our player of the game is. That's brought to you by Carolina Classic Fair. The Carolina Classic Fair, second to none in 2021. Not even the best golfer in my foursome. Play action. Lee rolls left and knocks over a defender and stays on his feet. What a run by Al Lee. Reidsville wants a flag, but it's Lee who's taking the game into his own hands right now.
Easy number 44, that Landon Venable, who's gotten Lee a few times tonight, just takes the stiff arm this time. I mean, look at this by Lee, shoving him down. Eating the turf that time. Venable came over and gave him a little bit of a dap up that time. So good job. Punch for punch, these two have gone tonight, and Lee wins that round.
I'll give him 7. Second down and 3. Walkertown still shuffling personnel. Lee, bubble screen, Peoples. Sidesteps 2 defenders and drags his way up near the first down marker. Should be good enough for another crescent forward first down. Will depend on the spot. And they are going to call timeout and give him the first down. You can test drive a new EcoSport at Crescent Ford and High Point. It's got the things you need to do the things you've always wanted.
Just enough. Again, 5'8", 170 pounds. Cam Peoples can work in space, but he's also got some power, a little bit of that physicality to his game as well. And you saw it there, just dragging a few defenders, getting yards, and just enough to pick up a fresh set of downs.
Back to the ground. This time a little bit of a change of pace with Jeremiah Red, and he'll fight his way ahead for 5 yards as we get under 5 minutes. We talked about it earlier, first ever meeting between these two programs. Are now conference foes. This 2A conference has become a pretty good one. West Stokes, McMichael, Andrews, who we saw earlier this year, Moorhead, obviously Reidsville and Walkertown. This could be a really competitive 2A league moving forward in this current realignment cycle. Lee wants to throw, looking for Peoples, and incomplete. It was intercepted, but out of bounds. Caleb Kelly with a good effort there from Walkertown.
Trying to take a shot, just no room to go with that one. Good job by Walkertown's secondary to smother the defenders, or rather smother the receivers in the defensive backfield that time. There's nowhere to go that time. Lee just fires it out of bounds. So live to play another down, and 3rd and 5 upcoming. Still have a good chance and a good opportunity here in front of you with only 5 yards to go.
I don't think either coach, regardless of what the outcome is going to be tonight, going to be extremely ecstatic about the way that their club performed. But certainly an opportunity to get better going into next week. Back to the ground again for Miller. And Miller, good enough for another first down, gains 9.
And that was all Miller that time, too. Just not a whole lot of blocking up front, a lot of pressure from that Wolfpack defense, and Miller just able to navigate it, make some guys miss, and get upfield to pick up a first down. Nice little run that time by number 10 in white. And keeps the sticks moving.
How about the depth for Reidsville? That's the 5th different ball carrier the Rams have utilized tonight.
They told us they want to run the football. This is an offense that wants to run the football to set up the pass, and they'll do it by whatever means necessary.
Averaging 178 yards per game on the ground. Lee will step into another run and dive inside the 30-yard line. Pretty balanced, though, in terms of the scores for Reidsville this year. 12 rushing scores, 10 passing touchdowns coming into tonight.
It's kind of spooks to the way they play offensively. Of course, you want to run the football, and that's what you like to do. But if you have to pass, you know that you've got a passing game that you can lean on a little bit more if you need to.
2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns tonight for the Rams as well. Back to pass, now flushed. This is Lee, throws another deep ball, got a man in the end zone. Another touchdown, it's Jaden McCain for the Rams. The 3rd touchdown toss for the sophomore quarterback, Al Lee.
And that may have been prettier than the first one. I mean, realistically, rolling out to his left, coming back across, and finding his man down the field. What a pass. Right on the money yet again. The sophomore quarterback has been putting on a show here in the second half.
3rd touchdown pass to the 3rd different receiver for Reidsville tonight. Weapons aplenty for the Rams. And now Reidsville trying a little trickeration of their own, maybe having to shuffle some personnel on. We'll get a flag to slow things down here. And it will be a procedure penalty against the Rams, so they'll back that up. Reidsville now 197 yards through the air from the right arm of Al Lee. They've rushed for 124. Another balanced effort for Eric Teague's offense. Of course, Eric Teague, the son of Jimmy Teague, a 2006 graduate of Reidsville High School, so it is a family affair. Coach Teague able to work with his son every day, which he mentioned how special that was. That extra point is also good, and it's all Reidsville here early in the 3rd quarter. Rams have taken a 30-point lead, and another dime thrown by Al Lee. He's pitching a pretty good game here in the second half. Reidsville by 30 when you come back to Walkertown. This is the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. Stay tuned. In the 4th quarter tonight, we'll have our West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our team at jobs.westrock.com. All Reidsville here in the second half. The Rams leading by 30, ready for another Arnold Jones Services kickoff. And this is again returnable here. It's Brannon from the 25. Walkertown has 1 kickoff return for a touchdown. That one will not be another. It's a return of 15 yards. And it is Walkertown down by 30, Mark, trying to just seize a little bit of momentum.
Have to start going a little faster here. Saw the bag of tricks open once already tonight for Walkertown, and that was on the extra point attempt that turned into a 2-point conversion, the old swinging gate formation. Yep. So maybe, again, they'll dive into that bag of tricks, but I don't know. They got to get something going here quickly, and this, again, is just not an offense that is built to do that.
We talked about the challenges that both of these clubs have faced with the COVID going on. this season. And one of the things for Coach McCoy that's really hampered, I think, in his mind, the development of some of his players, not been able to mix his JV and varsity teams together for practice. They've had to practice separately in case of a COVID outbreak. That ball is incomplete for Brannon. And a lot of these players on this new roster, remember, just 5 guys back from Walkertown's team a year ago, or back in the spring, and they only played 3 games on the JV side this past spring because of the COVID, which is really slowing this team down.
Yeah, I mean, and that's been the biggest thing for them, is trying to find that development. And so many teams are also in that same kind of situation too, where they haven't been able to really gauge and judge on a fair playing field what these guys can do from a JV to a varsity standpoint, and it's been tough.
Bryce Baker now into the game, as you can see, to play quarterback. A little bit of a change of pace here, down by 30. Baker trying to spark the offense, and that one through the hands of Moy brings up 3rd down.
I actually don't think that was too bad of a pass. Moy had to come down with that one. A really good pass, actually, because you had a defender sitting underneath. He had to get the throw over the top. It's a good job by Baker to get it there, and Moy, another one just sailed through his hands.
To finish the thought, though, Coach McCoy did talk about the resiliency of these players and how they've had so much to fight through, still positive every day, come to work, excited about the chance to play football here at Walkertown. Same story for Reidsville. I think Coach McCoy said, you know what, if this COVID was only a Walkertown problem, it would be fine, but it's a problem that's faced everybody. Reidsville has certainly experienced their fair share this season as well. And a sack for the Ram defense. It's Chirac, the defensive end, the sophomore, to bring him down.
To kind of finish up what you were saying, though, Chris, I mean, I think that really kind of hits the nail on the head. It's not just Walkertown, it's not just Reidsville, although both these teams have experienced the impact that COVID-19's had on this season already, but it's everyone across the state. And I think if you have kids that are still willing to come back and play week after week after week, despite what the challenges may be that they don't know on a daily basis, I think it speaks a lot to the level of competition and the character of these football players that are within the state of North Carolina.
8th punt of the night coming for McCoy, averaging about 26 yards per kick. Nearly had that one blocked. Perhaps his best punt of the night. Peoples with a chance to return. A flag is down 2. And not much for Cam Peoples. He will get positive yards to the 42, but we'll check on the marker. And a block in the back against Reidsville. One of the few infractions we've seen here in the second half. Mark, I'm curious from a Reidsville perspective. 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. You're up by 30. This is your 2nd game of the week. Remember, Reidsville played Tuesday, beat North Forsyth 42-14. The Rams again facing another 2-game week this coming week, with Andrews on the road Tuesday, at Eastern Alamance next Friday. If you're Jimmy Teague and you're the coaching staff at Reidsville, do you think about maybe starting to sprinkle in some of your reserves for the rest of this game?
It's possible. You just got to try to preserve that shelf life as much as you possibly can.
Fumble here. Walkertown might have picked it up. Richie Glover was right there in the mix and couldn't quite bring it in. It'll be 2nd down for Reidsville.
Just avoiding disaster that time. Just a miscommunication that time at the mesh point from quarterback to running back. Wellington and Lee have been on point so far tonight, but Lee just dropped that one. I think they just got a little excited with the football and just put the ball on the ground. Plain and simple. Just can't do that, and maybe that's one of those sophomore mistakes.
2nd down and all the way to Oak Grove for the 1st down. Speaking of Oak Grove, we'll be there next week for that big rivalry matchup. North Davidson visiting Oak Grove, 7:30 next Friday right here on my 48. Hope that you'll join us. A little end around here, and an explosive play from Lorenzo Mendoza as he'll get the fumble yards back and gain 8.
Nice play to get upfield, get some yards back, and put yourself in a more manageable situation on 3rd down. Good job to just get upfield, get some yards, and give your offense a better chance to pick up this 1st down.
7th different ball carrier for Reidsville tonight was Mendoza. Walkertown just now getting to the line. Final 60 seconds of the 3rd stanza.
We got to expect another pass here. They've been so good in the 2nd half.
Roll out this way for Lee. Looking downfield, now will run. Tries to go into a slide, gets upended that time. I believe it was Chris McCorkle who was on the hit. And boy, that's dangerously close to one of those targeting infractions, but perhaps another growing moment for a sophomore quarterback. Start your slide a little earlier.
Yeah, I think, honestly, he may have just slid, as in slipped on the turf, trying to make a move and pick up yards. And I think you're right, though, Chris. Protect yourself that time. Again, to the point, you've already played one game this week. You're in one right now, and you play another 2 next week. It looked like he just tried to make a move, and his feet got out from under him.
So now the punt for Reidsville, up by 30, and the Rams do not have to punt it away if they do not want. The clock can tick down, and when this game can head to the final period. Well, Reidsville, I believe, will take a delay of game here. Give a little more room for Anthony Franson. So Franson now will punt it away, and this will end the third stanza. Low snap. Franson, like a shortstop, digs it out and gets away a nice kick. Inside the 15. That's a live ball that's been picked up by McIntyre, who's trying to make another play in special teams, but is brought down at the 24. McIntyre with no fear at all as he tries to fool this Reidsville defense again. Reidsville, though, not fooled offensively in the third period. The Rams come out and score 14 points and a commanding 30-point lead for the reigning state champs as we head to the fourth quarter on our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals. All Reidsville as we start the fourth quarter here. Mark, let's go back and revisit your keys to the game to see how these teams are achieving what you thought was going to be imperative for success.
Oh, Reidsville's done a pretty good job of hitting on all their keys so far. They've hit on these deep throws in the second half. 2 touchdown passes for Al Lee, the deep throws, and just playing nice assignment football, not playing hero ball tonight. And for Walkertown, haven't really been able to win on first down, and they haven't turned the ball over, but just not been able to sustain drives. And almost in the same way, that's almost like a turnover.
We're winning on first down early in the game, though.
They were.
Trying to engineer a little momentum for their game next week. They're going to throw here with Baker, the backup quarterback, and making the catch, but slipping down was Moy. It'll be just a minimal 3-yard gain.
See some of that rhythm passing, just get Baker going, get the ball out of his hands quickly out to one of his receivers. Moy makes the catch that time and just slips. You've seen a little bit of that here as the game has gone on for sure. A little Dewey field action.
Another nice night in the Triad. Beautiful night for high school football. We've been very fortunate all year to get some phenomenal weather.
Starting to really get that time of year, though, where it's going to start cooling down nice.
Good football weather. To the ground again. Mitchell stays on his feet and gets maybe a yard. Brings up 3rd down.
Not like the thought. It had more of that triple option look and feel to it, but Reidsville, as they have done for much of the night, sniffs that one out. You already saw 4 white shirts in the backfield that time, and just finishing it off was that defense.
Let's sort of take a step back now and look a little bigger picture here for this Walkertown club. Obviously, this has not been the night they had hoped for Coach McCoy and his players, but does it feel to you that the pieces are there and that this is a club that's building in the right direction as a timeout is called here by Walkertown?
I believe so. When you look at the culture that's been built here, and that's really where it all starts, is how the coaching staff really acts and how they respond and what they're trying to build with what they're doing. And Coach McCoy's got the right mindset. Again, this is a guy that's got a pedigree. He's got a state title under his belt, so he knows how to win. It's just bringing that mentality is going to take some time to really install and have it flow over the entirety of the Walkertown community. So they can get there. The potential is there. It's just going to take some time. And when you look across the field and you see Reidsville, again, with so many streaks going on, the longest winning streak in the state right now as well, amongst them, it's you kind of look at it in the mirror and say, well, how do we get to that point as well? And they're finding out that you've got to just be better at executing what you're executing.
Still a very young program in terms of the state of North Carolina. It's a school at Walkertown that didn't start playing varsity football until 2013. They were a 1A school, really had some tremendous success as a 1A school. We mentioned it earlier, the regional final appearance in 2015, losing to Mitchell, which is one of those powerhouse programs. You hear about Murphy and Mitchell in the western part of the state every year. And then went to 2A, and that sort of put a little hiccup because you're facing the likes of Reidsville and Andrews. And look, Walkertown got back to the playoffs last year, Mark, which was an important milestone and step for this program. But Coach McCoy admitted to us in the call this week that, we want to be Reidsville. We want to be where they're at. We want to emulate that kind of program, have that success. They had that opportunity to notch one of those program-defining wins in the playoffs and knock off Shelby, another one of those flagship programs in 2A. Didn't get it done. Maybe you equate it to a person just beginning their life. You have to crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run. And still this program in the infancy stages as you look big picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to think about, right, like what you're saying is where they've gone in such a short amount of time and how that's really influenced a positive nature, a positive culture here at Walkertown. And they've got it going on. You feel that, you can see that. When we talk to Coach McCoy this week, you can feel just the enthusiasm, the exuberance that he has for what he's doing here. And that's going to be something that's going to really work its way throughout the roster, from his coaching staff down to the kids, and even before they're even on this high school team. They understand what it's like to play Walkertown football before they even get to the high school level.
Zakai Mitchell, a 23-yard run there. Another Crescent 4 at first down. Crescent 4 to 5 point. We keep you rolling. Mitchell's going to be an important cog for Walkertown moving forward. He's only a sophomore. Look, Baker, who's the quarterback now, just a freshman. Switzer, the starting quarterback, a junior. I mean, the core nucleus is there for this team. Double coverage. Oh, nice catch. Into double coverage for Moy, the junior. And you look at all of these players for Walkertown from a skill position standpoint, a lot of sophomores, juniors that are going to come back next year.
Yeah, and Moy, a nice catch there. He's one of them. He's going to be coming back, and Moy he's had some drops here tonight, but a tight contested play that time came down with the catch, and honestly, they could have gotten him on a pass interference as well, not for him, but against him.
3 straight completions now for this Walkertown offense. They've got it 2nd down and 5.
Finding some rhythm now. Baker supplied that since he's come in.
McIntyre in motion, gets it on the sweep. Boy, not going to get a positive yard here, but I am just so impressed with the heart and the way that McIntyre plays the game.
Another guy that's going to be coming back next year. He's just a junior. So you got to think, you see all these pieces and how they're all relating to the success here at Walkertown, and they're just going to continue to grow and get better with each other as each growing week goes by. I mean, you can see the potential. You can see what Coach McCoy and his coaching staff are doing here. They just got to get to where they can really start contending, get these kids believing to a point where you find that signature win, where you finally get over a Reidsville, a Shelby, whoever it may be that's standing in your path, that's going to be defining and make the rest of the state put your team on notice.
Third down and long here for Walkertown. They're 1 of 9 on third downs this evening. Baker steps up. Wounded duck pass looking for Moy. It's incomplete. Quayshawn Flippin was out there. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. It'll go against Walkertown, a hold. And you imagine this penalty will be refused by Reidsville.
I tell you, that had the potential. Moy was behind the defense that time, and it just looked like Baker's foot slipped. His back foot slipped coming out of that throw, and he didn't get all of it into that throw because his foot slipped. Nevertheless, even if it had been a touchdown and a catch, it would have been brought back by the hold.
Another look.
Right there. Maybe not. Saw something a little bit different. The freshman just trying to take a shot. Make something happen. You're down by 30 at this point. Just find a positive, make a play.
Reidsville accepting the penalty, so it brings up third down and 23. Baker on the design rollout. Little indecision, and that one incomplete. Now fourth down, and Walkertown forced to punt again. Back to this Reidsville offense. Be the 9th punt of the game coming up for Walkertown. Really enjoyed our conversation, getting a chance to talk with Coach McCoy and Coach Teague this week. Certainly wish those two guys well. Wish all the coaches that we see each and every Friday night well. It'd be great to be seeing some of our triad teams in the state championships. But both coaches understand there's a lot of football left to be played.
This area is so rich with football right now, too.
100%.
I mean, there are some teams, some legitimate teams that have state title aspirations.
I mean, you look at East Forsyth, you look at Grimsley, you look at Reidsville. I mean, these are just 3 of many. There's another infraction here.
That's just us for the past 3 weeks.
And we haven't even talked about, I mean, Oak Grove's a 2A program. We'll see Oak Grove next year. Ledford's usually in that mix as well in that conference. Salisbury, who's on the fringe of our viewing area, but Salisbury's had a lot of success as of late. Think about some of the Alamance County schools. Just keep running down the list.
I mean, it's a long list. This area is definitely a hot spot for high school football prominence right now.
Offsetting penalties here, delay of game and an offside. Never seen those two offset. But why you come to the game, see something you've never seen before. Another punt here, and a beauty. McCoy hits one to the far sideline. It is a long field for Reidsville after a punt of 32 yards, nothing on the return, and the Rams get the football back, leading by 30 when you return to Walkertown.
Welcome back to Walkertown, where Walkertown is down 30. Coach McCoy was a former athlete, and he played at both Carver and Winston-Salem University. And we asked him earlier this week what message that he took away from being an athlete that he now wants to instill in these players. And he said, you know, I really wish I could go back to playing ball when I was in school. And he said these kids just go through so much in this day and time, and he really preaches the idea of resiliency. Chris?
Yeah, Hannah, he absolutely does. And these kids have shown a lot of resiliency tonight, just to show you how much of an impact Rodney McCoy has made across this area, Mark. One of our great crew members, Carl Russell, who does a great job for us on camera every week, Carl was coached by Rodney McCoy during his time over at Carver back in Carl's playing days. So the impact is long-reaching for the head coach of Walkertown.
You talk about a guy who's had an influence. He's got a pedigree to his name. He's had an influence on a lot of people in this area. And that does not, that can't be a bad thing. You talk about a guy that's really had an influence in a very positive way on so many people. I mean, just think about our conversation with him this week. We all came away and we were.
There's Carl.
Look at him.
There's Carl, one of the best. Sorry, Mark.
But even our conversation with Coach McCoy this week. I mean, we all came away smiling. Like, can we talk to him a little bit more? Of course, he's got a busy schedule trying to get ready for games right now.
Sure, as everybody does.
Yes.
Third down coming here for Reidsville, and hard to overstate, and not trying to hype up Reidsville any more than they need to be, but this is a program that has been dominant, Mark. I mean, we talked about it earlier. 3 consecutive state titles. They've been in the title game 5 consecutive years. They've won 22 state titles. Now, the caveat to that, only 18 of those titles have been recognized by the NCHSAA, as Landon Denny, the quarterback, now in there. Denny, the second string. A couple of those titles for Reidsville were co-state championships. A couple also were when they were members of the now defunct Western North Carolina High School Athletic Association. But 18 NCHSAA state championships, 22 overall for the Rams, the most in the state. We've talked about it, and it's been joked by many in high school athletics. Reidsville is the football capital of North Carolina. There was a law or bill that went through the House and the Senate several years ago proclaiming Reidsville as the football capital of NC. And they're showing why. It's not like Reidsville is going to go out and have a 2-7, 1-10 kind of year. I mean, as we talked about earlier, they went 9-4 and they wanted Jimmy Teague to be out.
Blasphemy if they only win 2 games in a year.
Blasphemy if they only win 8. Katie barred the door. But that's, again, we talk about it earlier this season when we had that game at East Surrey. You know, the people in the community, the young people grow up, they want to be a Reidsville Ram.
Yep.
They play Pop Warner and middle school football, and they play JV, ultimately wanting to be a Reidsville Ram and continue that tradition of excellence.
Because they understand that's where the program is at. They know what the history is, and then that's exactly why you see a nice little effort there. Just play a nice run that time. But you see, when you look at Coach Jimmy Teague and see what he's done with this program, you see the success they've had, and he told us that he doesn't need to remind the kids. Well, because it adds that extra pressure. But everyone else in the community knows. They know what Reidsville football is, what it's supposed to be, and what the expectation is. And they've established that culture. The culture has established itself really in and of itself outside of just Jimmy Teague.
I mean, the microcosm of that is what we talked about earlier. I mean, they've now scored a point, is that one incomplete, in 339 consecutive games. Hard to do. Last time Reidsville was shut out, October 17th, 1997. They were beaten by Western Alamance 6-0. I mean, Mark, you're talking about decades and decades of being able to put points on the board.
I was 4.
Okay.
I was 4 years old. I mean, I'm 28 now. Like that's incredible. That is an unbelievable streak. They've scored points for over 20 years in every single game.
24 straight years, and they've added more to it tonight. Reidsville having to punt here on 4th down. And that'll be down at the 30-yard line. Mark, let's take a look at tonight's player of the game. Brought to you by the Carolina Classic Fair. The Carolina Classic Fair, second to none in 2021. No surprise who our player of the game is. Al Lee, the sophomore quarterback for Reidsville, taking the rest of the night off after throwing 3 touchdown passes. This the first to Cam Peoples. And then 2 more tosses appear in the second half, 1 to Jaden McCain and 1 to Quayshawn Flippin.
It's been a little bit of both. Have his receivers go out and make some plays for him, and then in addition to that, just making plays on his own. Some really nice throws here in the second half, taking advantage of this Walkertown defense deep down the field. You see one of those passes right there to Flippin. Just a beautiful throw over the top, nice touch. And I think it was pretty easy as this second half waned on Ali was going to be our guy tonight.
Lee finishes the night 10 of 20 for 197 yards, 3 touchdown tosses, 11 carries for 46 yards as well. Good numbers for Lee. Appreciate the work of our statistician Carter Hicks. Carter has a bit of a heritage game tonight. His family lineage can be traced just 5 miles from Walkertown High School.
There you go. Hitting close to home tonight, Walker. Carter.
Second down and 6. Baker, a little flare to the flat. Nice catch by Mitchell. Still on his feet. And another first down for this Walkertown offense. For a crescent forward first down, crescent forward at High Point. We keep you rolling.
I'll tell you what, Baker may have been lucky that was so wide open because that ball didn't have much on it. But to that point, Mitchell able to make something out of that play as well, get a few extra yards, and nice little highlight to add to his reel.
Again, taking a step back, looking big picture at these two clubs, we went to this new RPI ranking this year that the NCHSA is putting out. I've talked to some coaches, and I think most coaches like the RPI ranking better than the Max Preps ranking we were using because at least the coaches now know what is in the formula. Walkertown, middle of the week, checked in 18th in 2A West, is streaking down the sideline. Mitchell with a big play, and he'll set up Walkertown in very nice position here after a gain of 31. Reidsville, meanwhile, number 2 in the RPI ranking in 2A West behind Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby and Reidsville just standing up there, just almost like it's meant to be every single year. You can write that one down.
But that's the thing now, Mark. I mean, now that we've gone to these 4 classifications, there was no subdivision as an injured Walkertown player is down. Looks like just a cramp there. You're going to get Reidsville and Shelby maybe every year in a regional final type setting to determine who goes to the state title.
Why wouldn't you want that? I mean, really, why wouldn't you want that? Even at a state championship level, it's right there. I mean, the state championship, some people may argue if that's the case, was played right before the actual state championship. Some people will eventually argue that, or maybe just to that point, because these two teams are so talented. And you and I actually got to see Shelby play in person.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, in their state championship game, I believe against Salisbury.
Yeah, obviously another one of those flagship programs in North Carolina. As we take a look now, Mark, at tonight's play of the game, presented by Roan Law. Roan Law, the Triad attorneys who are here to help. And how about this hookup to start the third quarter? One of 3 touchdown passes for Ali, this time connecting with Quayshawn Flippin.
Yeah, and just a beautiful pass over the top. Again, said it at the time, say it again, chef's kiss, dropped it right in the breadbasket. A beautiful pass and a really big start to the second half tonight for Reidsville.
So it's, as they continue to attend to the injured Walkertown player, we'll step aside and have more of our fourth quarter coming up right after this. You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. Four minutes and 14 seconds to go here in the final period. All Reidsville tonight. Rams on their way to a 25th consecutive victory. Walkertown has the football as medical staff still attending to the injured Walkertown player at midfield. Appears like it's still just a cramp that they are trying to work through with Amari Barber, the starting center for this Walkertown club. Mark, just your synopsis of what we have seen from these two clubs tonight.
Well, just Reidsville being Reidsville, really, for lack of a better term. They came out a little sluggish out the gate, but found their footing defensively, really keyed in on this Walkertown attack. what they do with the triple option, and then offensively just really got it going after their first possession as well. So a slower start, but Reidsville is who Reidsville is. I think we saw that for most of the night. As for Walkertown, just trying to get to the level that Reidsville is at. You see some of the pieces there, so young across the board with some of these playmakers that they have. Just not quite enough here tonight. It was a daunting challenge coming into it, and you can see why. Just Reidsville being so powerful. And Walkertown, the upstart program, still so young.
It was actually Reed who was injured a moment ago, beg your pardon. So 1st and 10 here for Walkertown. And slipping here is Baker. First Friday of October, first night of the Carolina Classic Fair. Just a lot going on here as we get into the month of October. Breast Cancer Awareness Month for a lot of these high school football players. You'll see them wearing the pink.
Ali doing a fine job of that tonight. Our player of the game. A lot going on now in North Carolina in October. Things finally starting to pick up in the fall season.
Certainly feels like a sense of normal now after not having any high school football, or a lot of football for that matter this time last year. Incomplete pass to Mitchell.
Well, not just football, anything. The Carolina Classic Fair being on is a nice return to normalcy as well. So
I expect you to bring us all 4-foot-long hot dogs next week.
Talking to Carter?
Talking to you.
Oh.
That is your task.
That's my responsibility.
Stop by the fair and bring us some hot dogs. And some coffee. That'd be great.
Don't tempt me now.
Final 3.5 minutes from Reidsville. You feel like this is a Reidsville club that could contend for another state title?
I do. I think realistically, when you look at the negatives for tonight, which has been essentially all mental. Here, ooh.
Another sack. And Walkertown was 2 of 2 on 4th down until then. It was Julius Miller on the big stop, and that will bring up 4th down. Another look.
Well, Baker was getting ready to crank this one up to throw deep. Good job hanging on to it. Blindside hit. Miller just untouched and unhinged at the quarterback.
So bigger problem. This will now bring up 4th down, and Walkertown will call their final timeout with 3:16 remaining.
But to return to that point about Reidsville being a title contender, I think what you've seen tonight, the biggest downsides to, or the biggest negatives to what we've seen tonight have all been from a mental aspect. It's been the procedure penalties that they've had, pre-snap stuff, and then going in between that and just drop passes from your receiving core. It's just the small things like that that can be fixed. But as you enter the later stages of the season that we're getting very close to now, you've got to start to figure that out, especially before postseason play begins, with a more wide open 2A division, because now they've merged the small A and the big A.
And they've done that in every classification. No longer subdividing. It's just one state championship in all 4 classifications. And one of the things that Jimmy Teague said about his programs, he said, every year that we've won the state title, we've gotten better as the playoffs have gone along. Talking to some Reidsville folks today, said the talent they feel like is there, maybe not peaking at this juncture in the season. Don't think you want to peak here in week 6 of the year.
Right, exactly. And I think that's what Jimmy Teague, and look, Jimmy Teague's got enough state titles under his belt to know, and he's coached enough great teams to know when you want to peak and when you want to be playing your best football. And that's going to be when it comes to playoff time. November, December.
Walkertown going for it on 4th down by 30, looking for Moy, and nearly a nice catch. No flag. Walkertown wanted the call, didn't get it, and now Reidsville can go into their 3-minute offense.
It's really nice defense played on that one. Shadow the receiver, Moy, the whole way down the field. No chance of that one. Baker just threw the football up. Give number 10, Red, a chance. He's knocked away. Really nice play. Good coverage. And just like that, this Reidsville team will take back over on offense.
We mentioned Jimmy Teague and all of his accolades. Of course, Reidsville has won a ton of state titles, 22 overall. Coach Teague's been a part of a lot of those. 33rd season as a head coach, 27 of them at Reidsville. He's won over 350 games in his career. Markey is closing in top 3 all-time in career wins in NCHSAA history. Bob Paroli is 3rd on the list. He would need about 20 more wins to tie that, and still possible for Jimmy Teague to become the all-time wins leader in North Carolina. David Gentry, the longtime head coach at Murphy, finished with 416 career victories. And Coach Teague right there in the 350s. Another couple undefeated seasons would be right there. Of course, that's probably you and I putting the cart before the horse, and he doesn't want to hear about all that.
Well, I can tell you right now, he's not going to talk about it. Jimmy Teague, a class act, a very smart coach as well, knows how to not just analyze and coach a game, but also his roster and his coaching staff. Really knows how to get in touch with everyone in his football program and get the best out of them, and that's how you kind of achieve that level of success that he's seen.
We'll be curious to see how Reidsville and the coaching staff navigates the next couple of weeks coming off of the COVID pause, having to play 2 games a week this week and next week. So that's 4 football games in what, a little less than 14 days.
That's a gauntlet. I mean, especially at the high school level.
And the issue you could run into, sure, you could cancel the game against Eastern Alamance next Friday, which will be a non-conference game, but it goes back to those RPI rankings. It would hurt your strength of schedule, hurt your overall record, hurt your winning percentage, which hurts your playoff seeding, so maybe not as many games at home for Reidsville as that high snap. Landon Denny falls on it. So there's a lot of other factors that go into just playing or not playing the game that people are having to look into now as well.
Darned if you do and darned if you don't,
Sure.
right? I mean, that's just the reality of the situation when you look at Reidsville. And that's just, again, another facet of how COVID is impacting this season still. You played a spring season, now you got to come back and play a fall. You get basically half a year's turnaround versus an entire year, and then on top of that, you're now having to double up on games in 2 weeks. So it's tough.
Final 68 seconds. And nothing doing here in the backfield for one of the returners there for Reidsville. It was Trey Poteet, the running back, who got the call there for the Rams. And Reidsville will just have to punt it away one more time to start to salt away their 5th win of the season, their 25th consecutive victory. And boy, all signs are pointing to Reidsville being another one of those teams that we could see come late November, early December.
Again, the mistakes that they've made tonight have all been from a mental standpoint. If they can get those things figured out, Reidsville's going to be right there with that top tier in the 2A division. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with because the playmakers are there. The coaching is there, as usual. It's all going to be taking care of those mental aspects and cleaning up everything pre and post snap.
Timeout called here by Reidsville just to give their punter and save the delay of game penalty. I mean, keep in mind, this is a Reidsville team that has not given up a defensive touchdown tonight. The score for Walkertown came on special teams. Reidsville's only given up an average of 11.7 points per game. You keep that up, going to be hard to beat.
I mean, it's going to give yourself a chance. If nothing else, you're talking about your opponent scoring a little over a touchdown and a field goal a game. I mean, that's impressive. Across the board, when you talk about the competition that Reidsville plays, and they have to play, but that's part of coaching. You got to have your guys ready to go night in and night out, week in and week out, and Jimmy Teague's one of the best.
And it's not like Reidsville has played just a cakewalk of a schedule. They played a 4A school in Page earlier this year, too, and beat them 42-13. I understand that Page is maybe a little down, but that's a program that's got a lot of tradition, too.
Well, they didn't just beat them either. 42-13. Yeah. That's a nice game played by this Reidsville Rams football team, and just gotta again give the credit to where it's due. These kids that have worked so hard and have gotten through some very tumultuous times just continue to grind and grind and grind, and it's starting to pay off, and they're seeing the fruits of their labor.
And now Walkertown will take the game's final snap. Invite you to stay with us after the game. We'll have our Friday Night Rivals trophy presentation. Hannah will visit with Jimmy Teague and the Reidsville Rams, hand out some hardware. We'll also take a peek at tonight's West Rock scoring summary and get you all primed for our game next week as we continue our trek of some of the 2A power, some of the great rivals, Ledford and North Davidson. It's like a Duke, North Carolina type rivalry in Davidson County. That'll be a lot of fun next Friday. 2 great coaches. Looking forward to seeing Coach Holcomb of Oak Grove and Coach Flynn of North Davidson and their clubs. Hope that you'll join us then as well as Walkertown with the delay of game. And now the officials want to conference. Mickey Holloman, the head referee, will have to ice his right arm tonight.
Been a good workload here for the men in stripes.
All of them may have to put a little heating pad or a little ice on the arm this evening. And now a timeout called by Reidsville, as we are a little confused all across the field, and perhaps a coaching moment here for Jimmy Teague and his club.
I think so, unless I'm wrong. I think I heard Coach Teague from all the way up here screaming for his guys to come over to the sideline, just finding some sort of communication for these guys up front.
All Reidsville tonight, really from the word go. Rams led the game 24-8 at halftime and have never looked back.
Strong performance. And if that sophomore, that number 14 for Reidsville, Ali,
yeah,
if he can really put it all together and goes from being a sophomore to a leader for this offense, sky's the limit for these Rams.
Final 10 seconds. And they'll blow that one dead after the ball came out. And that should be the end of the ball game. And it will. Clock expires. And that'll do it. So it is Reidsville who wins their 25th consecutive game. The Rams roll on the road tonight, defeating Walkertown 38-8. Stay with us. We'll hand out some hardware and hear from Jimmy Teague coming up on the other side of this timeout. You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law.
Thank you for tonight's game, for attending. Thank you to ABC 45 and Mile 48 for the television coverage of tonight's game. Everyone be safe, travel safely on your way home.
Let's take a look at tonight's West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our teams at jobs.westrock.com. Big third quarter for Reidsville to put this one away.
Yeah, it just really came out of the halftime break and did a phenomenal job with a fast start to the third quarter and never looked back.
Let's go down to the field. Hannah Brady standing by with the victorious head coach. Hannah?
Thanks, Chris. I'm now joined with head coach Teague. Coach, you know, you played a game 2 days ago, and you come in tonight and you win. How proud of you of this team's toughness?
They've really responded well this week. You know, it's been a tough 2 or 3 weeks with the COVID and everything, and then having to play these 2 games back to back. I thought they really played well. we said a bunch of times we never won a state championship. That been a great defense. Defense really played well tonight, I thought.
Absolutely, and you know, you're continuing your undefeated season, and how are you planning to keep that same level of intensity in next week's game?
Yeah, well, we got another one on Tuesday, so we ain't got much time to prepare. But, you know, again, that's what the COVID stuff kind of calls to. Maybe we'll get back to a normal schedule after that week. But I'm really proud of their performance tonight.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations for being tonight's Friday Night Rivals winners, and congratulations on your 38-8 win. And so we're going to present you with this trophy tonight for being tonight's winners. All right. Chris and Mark, back to you.
Hannah, this is a program that is used to raising some hardware, and you can tell they have bigger aspirations as this season continues. Reidsville is tonight's Friday Night Rivals trophy winner as they defeat Walkertown 38-8. An impressive win in all facets. Coach Teague talked about how well his defense played, offense clicking on all cylinders too.
Yeah, you can see it across the board. Offensively, they've got potential. Defensively, they are stout. Special teams-wise, seem pretty good as well. So if you look for championship aspirations, you got to be good on all three phases of the game, and Reidsville was that tonight.
Some moments to clean up for sure as we take a look at our post-game stats tonight. There'll be some teachable moments for both clubs, but look at the balanced effort for Reidsville offensively.
And you got to love that. When you look at 139 on the ground, 197 through the air, no turnovers, playing mistake-free football. And the one thing you got to clean up is those 8 penalties for 55 yards. Teachable moments, coachable moments, and things you can clean up going forward.
And just a thought on Walkertown as they move forward with their season.
They're going to continue to get better. We see the potential there as well. Still so young, this program and the roster. As long as Coach McCoy and this coaching staff continues to develop this team, I think they're going to be in a good spot.
Partner, enjoyed it. See you next week.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank everyone who made tonight's game possible. Thanks to Capitol Metals and High Point for giving us those plaques and trophies seen in tonight's game. Cook Reynolds for those high end zone camera views. And to Mountain Fried Chicken for providing our crew meals each and every week. Join us next Friday at 7:30. That's October the 8th from Davidson County as the North Davidson Black Knights visit the Grizzlies of Oak Grove right here on My 48. So for Mark Covert, Hannah Brady, our great spotter and statistician Carter Hicks, and our team in the truck led by Drew DeMarcantonio and Lori Bates, this is Chris Edwards saying so long from Walkertown, where the Reidsville Rams roll to their 25th straight victory. So long, everybody.